For those in the community who might not know you, you are by far the longest mod on a channel. You've been around since before Skello Daddy was even a fucking thing. So
Been around for
we
way too
yeah.
long.
Wait, I've been trying to cut him off for years. But
I've been trying to
but
be
jokes
like my
aside,
name and just fucking die.
yeah. we I think we were like 15, 16 when we started talking. Is that right?
I
could be wrong on that.
because it was your I think it was I think I just got into high school that time because
Yeah.
that was when I kind of told your I forget if she was your girlfriend or your ex at the time. I kind of told her off, and that's when
She was my girlfriend at the time. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So.
yeah, because you even came up to me and you were even like, I respect what you did.
Yeah. Okay. So,
it was in my
for those of you who don't know what happened, so I was dating a girl who she basically made me hate you because I was not very confident. I had a lot of I had a lot of issues with self-confidence, and you were a dancer, and she loved dancers, and so she was like, I think it was like a talent show or something. You were up there and you danced, and it was incredible. I will openly say, even back then, I was like, that is fucking amazing. I was like, this guy's cool. And then she starts ranting about you. I'm like,
exactly
this dude's a dick. Like 100%. I was like, hey, fuck that guy.
And I remember that at like when that started too, because it was at school dance.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were there with the girl, and I was there trying to woo someone that I would eventually date for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the only ways that I ever had self-confidence was dancing, which for people that don't know in the community that haven't either talked to me one-on-one or things like that, one of my personas that I would do is that I would wear a mask because I was very self-conscious of my looks back then, and even now to an extent. And it got to a point to where that was my persona, was always a mask, which is where a lot of times where you'd see me on like a stage or something, it was just a one bright white mask or like a bandana over my face, so you could only watch the dancing. You wouldn't watch anything else.
Right.
During when I got into high school is when I finally revealed my face, because all through 7th grade, no one knew who the masked man was, and I was going to take that with me forever. I was about to. And
I want to get back to that here in a little bit, but yeah, go ahead.
But it got to a point where I was like, I just need to reveal myself and not hide. It was more so just a push to be more open of who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started getting attention, good and bad. And as much as I enjoy the wooing at the time from some people from our classes and things like that, that was never my style. It never was. It's still not. So during that dance, I was kind of using it as like, oh, maybe I can woo this girl unintentionally, making Dan mad afterwards. And I didn't realize she was saying things to you at the time at the dance.
Oh yeah, there's no way of knowing.
Giving me dirty looks too. Yeah.
Oh, I did. I totally did.
Dirty looks too, and I was so confused because I was like, because I remember thinking about, I was like, what did I do? But I was just like, okay, maybe it's just something, maybe having a rough day.
Right.
It wasn't until I got until I got in high school, and we both, after that interaction, so what really set the bar to get us to start talking, his girlfriend at the time I was dating someone and not knowing that your girlfriend did not like her at all.
Yeah.
And one day I was explaining, it's like, oh yeah, I'm happy and things like that. She then comes over, it's like, oh, we can help you find a new girlfriend. And I don't know, and probably was like one of the first times I ever stuck up for myself in that school, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I just told her, it's like, don't worry about it. I don't care about your opinion.
Right. Right.
I'm not talking to you. And it wasn't until after that to where Dan talked to me for the first time, not as friends or anything, but just saying, hey, I respect your decision and things like that. I'm not mad at you kind of deal for being that way.
That was one of my biggest arguments in that relationship. Not between you and I, between me and that girl. Because I even told her, I'm like, you cannot do this. I'm like, I'm speaking for another man here. Like, don't do that. Like, don't, leave it alone. Just back the fuck away from it. And when she did, I remember standing off to the side, like, oh my god. And like, me, you know, guy brain, like teenage guy brain, I'm like, but just nod and smile, maybe she'll let me fuck her, I don't know. So I didn't say anything at the time. And I remember, like, after we, like, split up and we're not like, split up the relationship, but, like, yeah, as you were saying, I went up later, and I was like, dude, you know what? Like, don't fucking tell her I said this, but... but good job, you know?
Yeah.
But I remember when you took the mask off, that was huge to me. That, like, to me, that was official, like, this kid's a badass. Because you were on stage, and I think you did some kind of spin into it, and your back was shown. And you took the mask off and you dropped it on the ground, like a mic drop on the ground. And I remember audibly in the audience, I was like, oh shit. And then you just went into it. Well, the kid next to me didn't, he, like you said, you got a lot of attention that necessarily wasn't nice attention. And so this dude straight up goes,
absolutely.
What an F slur. And I'm just like, do you not get what's happening right now? Like, do you not understand? And he's like, that he's gay? I'm like, what?
that by far is still one, within that area, there, in that school. For those of you who don't know, me and Dan have lived close by to each other and went to the same school for a long time, graduated from the same school.
Yeah.
I originally am from Derry, Pennsylvania, for people that like to know. Not really the most... It was a very, like, ghetto, slum kind of area, very big in drugs and things like that. So to me, it was... I got a lot of negative attention as soon as I came in, because I remember the original song that I was going to do for the variety show, because that's what it was called, and I just remembered.
Yeah, you're right.
Because this is my because this is not gonna say her last name, I'm gonna say it this way because you'll know who I'm talking about, and maybe some people will too. Miss K.
Oh yeah.
After practice, and basically made me change the song. So the song I did at the variety show was completely improv, like last minute, because I had to change. On top of, she literally scolded me about my school and was like, oh, that's why you picked that song. That explains a lot. Like, basically dumping my school and things like that. That was like those things were like the first like interactions in that school to where I was like, oh, great. I feel right at home.
Yeah, pretty much.
The whole mask thing was kind of like, and even still now, if I ever go back on stage again and things like that, it will forever be the symbol, and there will be a time to where I finally hang up the mask, because to me it has more of a symbol of this is the things that you don't see in people, because at the time people didn't know how much I was very into like helping others in a way, which is why you met in a club that we'll talk about shortly.
Right.
And finally started being friends during that time. it became a point to where it was more so I wasn't being myself, I was being the people around me, because a lot of times the songs that I did was telling other people's stories at the time. It was more so it was for them, not so much for me anymore. Because how dancing came up, and this is like one of the biggest parts of like the origin story of Ghost kind of deal. Because dance has always been a big part for me for years, and it all started from like when I was a little kid. I was probably like 5 or 4, and one of my biggest things was NSYNC. NSYNC was my jam, and still is to this day.
Hell yeah, man.
And I'll forever live by that. But it got to a point to where, as I was a kid, I was so excited and I wanted to perform. My dad at the time was a musician. I remember my dad looking at me in my eyes as a little kid and told me I would never make it to the stage. And I took that with me for forever. I still do to this day as my drive to do better with myself, with my work and things like that, even in my hobbies. And it wasn't till I realized that I wasn't doing it it got to a point to where I wasn't doing dance for myself anymore. And then it started to be kind of convoluted to why I was doing what I was doing. But it definitely shaped how I viewed the art as a whole. To me, and I think, hot take and a half, it's like I think TikTok dances are absolutely obnoxious. I'll be one to say it.
If you remember, I spent like 3 months just sending you any fucking dance I could find, because I knew you would be like, "This isn't dancing!" Like, you would get so pissed.
Yeah, I would get so mad. Yeah,
or misquoting Disney.
Oh yeah, absolutely Disney. I will scold people left and right. I do. It's hilarious.
So fucking fun, dude.
Yeah, then so like the mask being dropped was to be like the storyteller was finally revealing himself for the first time since I was a little kid, and to me that was very big for me, because the first song that I did on stage for everyone was I believe it was Circles by Marcus Houston was the song, and honestly it was a song that I did for myself, because there's a lot of times where I felt like I was going in circles with choices I made. And back then, even when I was young, I was making decisions that I wasn't 100% okay with, but I kept going back to it left and right. So it went from, the original song was Moment for Life by Nicki Minaj and Drake, because I wanted to do something a little bit harder to kind of show my talent in like a more hard sense to the original hip hop look to it. But came up the idea to do more so of like a lyrical thing, just because of I absolutely love lyrical dancing. I'm not good at it by any means, because I absolutely dislike ballet. I think it's beautiful. It's not for me.
Yeah.
But I kind of
I'm petting a cat, by the way. I'm not doing like a sarcastic, like, come on, you know. No, I just want that to be known. I'm petting a cat.
No,
yeah.
No,
Get on with it now.
So get on with it, you bastard.
Boo!
Yeah. Boo on you, sir. Boo. No, but it definitely became, I say, boo, sir. But no, it came to a whole thing to where that just became what I was known for in that school, was dancing. And honestly, if I could change anything about high school, I probably would change that. As much as I loved dancing, it basically put a certain mark on how people viewed me all through high school. And
it absolutely did.
And whether it was good or bad, it didn't matter. It was just for the sheer fact of, oh, this person seems like, to some people, seem like, oh, he's just better at everyone else, when in reality, anyone who's ever talked to me one-on-one, I'm very down to earth, So I'm very I normally don't talk about accomplishments and stuff like that unless it's brought up. So I I like to kind of just like take it back and take
Yeah.
it back, sit
Yeah.
back, and just listen to people. Now, how
Hi,
me and
Roxy.
Dan finally started to Roxy.
I
How
didn't want to
we
interrupt
finally
you in the middle,
started
but I did want to
talking.
make sure that.
No, you're good. How we started talking was basically through a club that actually
Mm-hmm.
um, Dan Dan and me were very passionate about. I would actually
Yes.
say that Dan is the one who started it um, because of his story and things like that. Um, it was Avita, for those of you who don't know, is a suicide prevention program. Um, it was definitely something that for me and Dan hit definitely to home, and we're very excited when it finally was happening. I know for me.
Yes.
Um,
I think that was like 11th grade for me when that happened, because I remember some of the senior girls. Uh, Basically, long story short, I went up in front of the whole school in the auditorium and told my story and like my struggles with depression and suicide attempts as a please, like, this shit's happening, like, I want there to be a spot for kids like me um who can find an escape, who can find like-minded individuals and try to get the help they needed. And I had like all of these upperclassmen like giving me hugs and shit, like, dude, you're awesome and everything. And I remember the first day that we had the club or we had an event or something, I walk in, I see you, and I'm just like, what the fuck is he doing here? And then, like, as I got to know your story a bit more, I'm like, oh, I was a piece of shit. So I was like, immediately, like how you said, like how people give you that aura of like, I'm better than you. You're right. Like it definitely had this feeling going into that group where I was like,
it had a
but
demeanor that wasn't
yeah,
100%
yes,
good, unintentionally.
yes, completely unintentionally. It wasn't but yeah, alongside that, there was a lot of preppy people, and I'm not saying preppy people cannot get depressed. I'm not, no, nothing like that. But I quickly found out that like you were about my only ally in that entire team of who I could go with to get shit done. Because there were so many people who's just like, well, my mom told me I had to join a club, so here I am, or I'm only here to get popularity points on Facebook when I post later that I'm in this group, or, you know, internet points.
Or for college kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly.
College was
And
a big one.
yeah, a lot of kids admitted to me, and they're like, yeah, I'm only here because of college. It's like, fucking, okay, you did your time, you can leave now, like, get the fuck out, I don't care.
Oh yeah, because it was one of those things of like, it to you and me, it meant way more than that.
Yeah, it was
to you, it was you trying to find healing in things that has happened before.
right. That was
To me, it was to find understanding to my own feelings and to others. It was
right. Mine was definitely when the idea got brought before me, and I don't remember how the fuck I learned about it. I don't know what transpired for that, but I remember we were talking about presenting it to the school, and I had said, I'm like, can I fucking talk? Like, can I just tell my story? Because I think it was like that. Yeah, I was 17 when I went to the crisis center, and I told the story about the walking bridge in the park. Yeah, the walking bridge to the park. One of my most powerful photographs that I've ever taken was of the walking bridge with the chain over it that I once stood on top of that I was going to jump when a train came and just end it. And years later, I was on the tracks and I took a photo, and it's my favorite photo I've ever taken. And because it's one of those, like, I've gotten past, we're not past it, but I've grown. And when it came to, being able to tell that story and being able to, help the other kids who might not uh, be as lucky as I was, and something I don't know if I've ever told you this. I used to go to my aunt's a lot, and back when she was alive, there was a neighbor boy that lived around her, and I was I was best friends with this kid. Absolutely loved him. His name was Blake, and I've never told his story on stream before, and I'm kind of getting choked up a bit. But yeah, Blake was like my best friend at the time, and the one night my mom called me down. She goes, "Hey, I need to talk to you," and she said, Do you remember Blake?" I'm like, "Of course I remember Blake. He's my best friend." And she said that there was a big argument in his home, and he ran. He ran away. He ran out. It was the middle of the night, and there was a busy road out in front of his house. Well, he had took off running, and he didn't see a car, and he got hit, and it killed him instantly. And so part of the Avidum thing, and like what pushed me to, reach out to those kids or reach out to the people in those environments was Blake. And I remember I told the girl that my girlfriend at the time, who you had stood up to, and I told her, I'm like, there are two boy names that I want. I'm like, one is Dante because of Dante's Inferno, and the other is Blake. And she goes, "Oh, I love those names." And I'm like, I told her, I'm like, if we ever separate and you name your kid one of those names, that's fine. Like, but it has to be Dante. You cannot take Blake away from me. Like, that is the name that and no matter what stories I do, no matter what I do, I never use the word Blake. 'Cause to me, that's him. I've never used that name in a bit, in a joke. That's, to me, that's, at the time, there's absolutely nothing I could have done. I know that for a fact. But with the whole, when it came to Avidum, I knew it was one of those things of like, I can at least try to make sure it doesn't happen again. And that, and I think that was a big reason why I started to look to you more, because I knew you had that same drive that I did when it came to bringing this program to light or having these programs. And I knew when I graduated, because you're a grade lower than me, I knew when I graduated, I was like, I don't have to worry, because like, Ethan is there. Ethan shares my passion. Ethan knows what I would have wanted, what I would have done. And so it was, to me, Avidum still has a huge part of our lives, even if we,
absolutely, and we
yeah,
do
like,
still like push the ideas of Avito, but in our own paths now. Like
right. And
you have your
hello, Kiba.
community and things like that. And to me, after high school, I started counseling younger kids. I started actually doing that stuff, going to the different schools in the area, and it actually was very eye-opening for me in a lot of cases, because it was the actual like proof of like knowing what my words did, and to kind of how me and Dan, surprisingly, when it came to this, we had very similar stories to
Yes.
to the reason why we joined that program and then started talking. It, to me, when I lived in Derry, Pennsylvania, one of my friends at the time, her brother committed suicide by standing in the middle of the tracks. One day, we ended up trying to go to her house, me and my cousin, to comfort her, because we didn't know. We were young, we still didn't have any idea what happened. But we were being followed. We were being followed by news crew and things like that to get in, basically to disturb the moment, the sadness with the chaos. And to me, it was more so, there are going to be people in this world that you will never hear on the news, that you'll never see in magazines, that are unsung heroes that themselves are also going through their own battles. But part of the way
Absolutely.
that they heal themselves is by healing others. It was one of those things of, it just was it was comforting to see people and know people had similar ideals, which is why me and Dan gravitated towards each other real quick. Because once we started talking about our passions and things like that, and like just who we are as people, we started to learn to where we weren't really so different. We were put in a situation to where I was ditzy and I thought everything was fine. To him, I was a dick. and, and that stuff
Yeah.
happens when you go through life.
Yeah.
It was
Absolutely.
that stuff
I saw this thing online that
Um,
said, if you didn't hate each other at one point, you're not actually best friends. And I was like,
oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, because the whole thing is like, it's like I don't know who you are, but I hate you. It's like,
oh yeah. It's like, my girlfriend likes you, so I fucking hate you. You're competition, you know? Because
oh
I have
yeah,
low
which is
self-esteem.
completely normal. Well, to be fair, it's completely fair because it's fair to us in that instance, just because of things that happen, which is kind of like personal boundaries kind of deal. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
um, it. But that's kind of how it was, and to me at the time, I didn't really know how bad my own struggles were. It kind of was a thing to
Right.
where Avidum to me was kind of also a scapegoat, to where I didn't have to sit and think. When in reality, that's all I ended up doing. Um, After Dan graduated and things like that, I took the reins as one of the main spokespeople and things like that. I used to show
Right.
videos and poetry all the time at the programs. I remember, actually, I'm gonna look up the actual proper name. One of the main videos that I found for the community to use, and honestly, a lot of people remembered me for this, and I didn't realize it at the time. It was a poem called "To This Day." If you love poetry and you like visual representation of it, this poem's amazing. It is by Shane. I'm just gonna spell it out so it's not, so you can look it up if you look at the VOD layer. Shane space KOYCZAN. You'll see it first thing. And it was
We're probably going to be
it is
editing
such
this
a
for YouTube, so if you don't mind sending me the link, and I'll just put it in the description of the YouTube
oh
video. But anyway.
I will. And it is by far an extremely powerful poem. And it was that moment to where I realized, like, it's like, I'm not just doing it for others, I'm doing this for me.
Right.
And and that became, to me, and
Hi, Pookie.
to where I also was thinking, this is our, like, I was thinking about how this is what we wanted. We wanted this to be a safe haven for people like us.
Mm-hmm. You had mentioned about heroes, or like saviors, without really, like some people don't know they're a hero or a savior. I kind of wanted to.
Unsung
Do you remember?
heroes.
Yeah. Do you remember Brian? Of course, I won't say his last name. He's
Yeah.
he's the guy who tragically lost his dad when he was in high school and he started dyeing his hair black.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
he was
forgot about him.
I still fully believe that Brian saved my life. I still credit him as one of the people who saved my life. And I think I've told this story on stream before. The Oh, thank you for that link. Excuse me. Um, our after school teen program in the area. I which we won't say names because you know doxing. uh, I would go there all the time, and he would go, and we'd hang out and shit. And I remember the one day at school, I was like, I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm gonna go to the nearby park back in the woods where all the cool kids hang out. Wink, wink. And I'm gonna get fucked up. I'm gonna because at that point I've never even like smoked anything. I've never drank anything, and I thought I had made friends with some of the quote unquote cool kids. So I was like, so they're like, yeah, on Friday, whatever the fuck day it was, they're like, come over, like, we'll hang out. You can try some shit, and we'll we'll hang out. And I'm like, and at the time I'm like, oh fuck yeah, because I was depressed as shit. I was looking for an escape. And so I thought, you know what, this is great. This is my moment kind of deal, like that whole bitch thing.
This is my
And
moment.
yeah, and Brian had come up to me. I think it was like fifth or sixth period, and I don't know why I remember that part. I can't remember my mother's birthday, but I can remember it was like fifth or sixth fucking period. Well, he came up to me
Listen,
and he
we
goes,
remember some very interesting facts
"Oh yeah,
about our lives.
yeah." He said, "Hey, do you mind?" Oh, my arm's tweaking. Do you mind if we go to the teen center today? He goes, "I really need help with some of my math homework. I don't understand it. Can you help me out?" And at first I was pissed. I mean, I didn't show it to him because like at that point I kind of had more of a control over my emotions. And I'm like, "Yeah, man, let's go." Because I'm like, I like being needed. And so I'm like, "You know what? Let's go work on it together." And I agreed. I'm like, because to me, I'm like, I'll help him with his math homework, and then I'll go hang out with the cool kids and compromise or whatever the fuck. Well, I I'm sitting um in the in the teen center. I'm hanging out. My mom texted me, and she goes, "Are you okay?" And for those of you who don't know, my mother is very trusting, very loving. But when we were kids, like if I was hanging out at your house and we walked to Dollar General or some shit, I would have to text her and say, we're going to Dollar General or we're going here. She wanted updates of where I was. And occasionally she would drive out and make sure we were where we're sitting or where we said. If I said I was at the park, she'd drive over to the park occasionally to make sure that's what I was doing so she knew she could trust me. And so I text her, or she texts me, she goes, "Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm at." Well, I just doxed us, whatever. I'm like, "I'm at." And she goes, "Are you sure? Like, are you positive?" And at this point, she was worrying me because I'm like, Mom doesn't talk like that. Like, she's never flat out questioned if I was lying like that before. So I'm like, Brian, lean over for a second. I take a selfie with him. I send it to her. I'm like, yeah, we're hanging out. She goes, okay. And I'm like, I say to Brian, I'm like, I need to go take a phone call. So I walk outside and I call her. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And she goes, your neighbor called the police and an ambulance into the woods where I was gonna go hang out. A girl had OD'd on pills and some other medicine and passed out. Like she passed out in her own vomit. She just collapsed. And the kids that she thought were her friends, like, took her wallet, just robbed her, and they took off running because they were like, we don't want to go, we don't want jail time, we don't, whatever. They took the fuck off. And my neighbor, um, was the one who, like, got her out of her vomit, stayed with her until, like, you know, an ambulance and shit could show up and get her out and saved her fucking life. But, I remember I got off the phone with my mom, and, I went into Brian, and, like, I couldn't say anything. I couldn't say, like, "Hey, man, thanks," because, you know, a chick almost died, and that could have been me. I was fucking stunned, so I just told myself, I'm like, "Okay, just work on the math homework." And I escaped it, from that with that thought. But I remember going to school the next day and seeing the kids who I was supposed to hang out with and thinking to myself, I'm like, if you guys did that to someone you considered your friend, would I have actually fucking died? Because I don't necessarily know if you consider me a friend. Would you have tossed me in a fucking lake after I passed out? Would you have, you know, finished a job or something? What would have happened? So, to me, Brian's definitely one of those people from our childhood that without him, I probably would have been in a fucking shitter. Like a while, I lucked out with Brian. He's definitely one of those guys who, um, I'm not a religious man in the sense of Christianity, but if there is a God, I'll thank him for Brian because he 100% saved my ass that day.
There's an old saying where the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was tricking the world that he didn't exist, or that he doesn't exist.
Dave says that a lot.
Yeah, I heard it like about 2 months ago, and I'm like, that is so powerful. The deeper you look into that. But yeah, no, and I'll talk about this because I actually don't know if I ever talked to you about it. This actually happened when we were living together. So this is when I started working at Save Law, and I was working those long days, almost for an entire month straight, kind of deal.
Right.
I was like, you remember those times? They were awful.
Yes, definitely.
I was very, and this is kind of like where a lot of my outlook and kind of how I'm here but I'm not kind of deal within the community, because I am always around. It's just one of those things to where sometimes I forget to make myself known, especially in times of need.
You're definitely your namesake. Yeah, with the ghost. You're definitely a behind-the-scenes guy who literally sees everything but says nothing.
Sees all but speak none.
Yep.
So a few years ago, this was probably 6 years ago, I would say.
Yeah.
I got home from work. It was real late at night. Paul dropped me off. I don't know what came over me. It was almost like I wasn't myself. I was so down in my luck. I was at an all-time low. I got up. Yeah.
I hate that band, but anyway.
And I went. They have only like a handful of good songs, but I get up and I go to the bridge, actually, and I go underneath the bridge.
Yeah, the one with the train tracks underneath it.
Yep. One of the first things that it was probably one of the lowest points in my life, and I didn't realize it. I stood there for about 20 minutes to a half hour, and I waited for a train. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to. I felt like I was failing. I felt like I wasn't doing my father proud. I didn't think I was doing anything for my family. The person that I was with at the time was treating me poorly, and it was just everything was just kind of crashing around. I wasn't enjoying the things I used to do, and it just fell. I saw a train in the distance, and I kind of stood there, said my goodbyes, my sorries, to hopefully to be heard in the wind to my family and friends. The train was very, very close to me. It wasn't, as it was coming, my phone started ringing. And I was gonna let it just go. On the last ring, I saw who it was, and a voice in my head told me that I needed to pick up the phone. I walked past off the tracks, the train went by me, and I answered the phone. And the person that called was depressed and needed someone to talk to, was having the thoughts that I had. That was during the time that I also was counseling. It was one of my kids that I counseled. And from that point on, after that happened, I stayed outside and I just stared at the tracks and thought to myself, what did I almost do? I felt like right then and there was the showing of I needed to stay. That one moment, that simple, for people that say one phone call does not save a life, don't really never been through it.
Right.
Because that's all it took, was a single phone call, unintentionally, for no reason, changed everything. I say it now more than ever.
Right.
I say it more than ever that I am very lucky to be alive right now, and I'm very, very thankful for it. It was very hard to explain it to my family. I only just told, for instance, my mother, this was happened 6 years ago. I only just told her last year that it happened. Finally was able to talk about it. And it, for me, and I can't speak 100% for you, but we both went through almost similar emotions and things like that, but all it took was one thing, one small thing that people would take for granted that changed our time clocks to seconds to years.
Absolutely. And I think what some people might not know or might not like notice is that little thing can change. Like, it can be something as simple as like, who's gonna explain to my cat, or who's gonna feed my cat when I'm gone, or the new Zelda game's coming out in a few months. I want to play that game. And I would constantly find these things to be like, okay, well, Skyrim's coming out soon. I kind of want to play it. And yeah, it was definitely finding those things that would just work out like that. One of the more recent ones that I had was I lay out my mental health on stream. I'm very open about it because I want other people to know. I'm like, dude, there are others people. Man, my guy is tweaking. Anyway, I want other people to know that like people go through shit, and it's okay, and it's natural to talk about this. I don't like the stigma of like, you're not allowed to talk about mental health. Go fuck yourself. It's important. And
no matter who you are, it's 100% you are okay to talk about those things. It doesn't make you inferior. It doesn't make you weak. It's one of those things to where you talking about those things is some of the strongest things you could do. Seeking help
Right.
is one of the strongest things you could ever do. And it took like it doesn't just happen. You don't just think that way. It took me almost all close to 22 years of my life to realize that.
Yeah. I'm still not in therapy yet. For those of you who don't know, I've been trying for for weeks to get into that counseling through my therapy, and my dad. This is completely true, and it just happened to work out this way. My dad and I were talking downstairs, and my dad and I have come a very long way, and he's actually the one who I confessed everything that, things aren't all right now. And so he pulled me off to the side. Well, we were in the kitchen earlier before I started the stream, and he goes, "Hey, how are you feeling?" And at first I'm thinking I got sunburned. I'm badly sunburned right now. So because I went to that Ford International in Carlisle, so I'm like, oh, he's probably talking about my sunburn. I'm like, it hurts a little bit, whatever. He goes, well, how are you still going to your sessions? And I'm like, Dad, I haven't gone to a single one. I'm waiting for them to take the money out because I still have that money set aside. I'm waiting for them to set me up with somebody. I've heard nothing. I've signed up several times. They have my email. They have my phone number. I've heard nothing. And and he starts chuckling. And he goes, let me stand up here. But anyway, he starts laughing. He goes, you haven't been to one yet? No. And he said, the reason I ask you is because I've been seeing a lot of changes in you. And at first I didn't really know what he meant, but he said he just flat out said, he goes, I'm proud of you because you're working your ass off to get better. I mean, I have not been late to I've only been back to work for a week, but I haven't been late to work a single time. I've woken up on time every single time. I take better care of my sleeping schedule. I'm eating better. I've been taking care of the lawn work, making sure the trash is out, taking care of the dishes. And bathing, that's a big one. I'm fucking bathing and shaving and keeping everything maintained. I shaved all my hair off. Well, the majority of it. Yeah. And, I did a fucking 180 from how shit was. I mean, you saw me when you came over to my house to check on me when shit fell through for that job that I was so fucking numb I couldn't do anything about. And but yeah, when he just flat out said I'm proud of you. It didn't dawn on me how much fucking effort and how much work I put into, for lack of better terms, staying the fuck alive, until he had said hey, I'm proud of you. And then it was just oh shit, I'm making a paycheck right now. I'm trying to get caught up on my bills. I'm getting shit done. I'm in new clothes thanks to my very loving Twitch community who, with their donations, I've been able to properly clothe myself. But yeah, it's honestly been one of those things of as much as it sucks, finding that starting point and just digging the fuck out, and it sucks. I know it's not easy. It's really not easy right now. I'm still trying to listen to myself, and going along that, I had a huge sit down with myself. I just had this today and yesterday I took a walk, and I went to the graveyard where we skate.
You mean
And
our thinking place to discuss life every single time?
yeah, we skate there, pretend like we're gonna
waste
skate,
that
but we sit on a
graveyard.
picnic bench. And and fuck you, Grimm. We love you, bro. I love you too, man. Kiba, I still have your name in my phone case, by the way. Off topic, but yeah, I had this like plastic engraver for some shit because I was like, oh, buy it, I could use it for stream or something stupid. I don't know. And I was like, okay, someone in chat, like first one to put your name or something, I'll engrave it into my phone case. So yeah, and the inside of my phone case, I'll have to take a picture of it later for Discord. It's still Kiba right in the inside of it. I still have that phone case. But anyway, like I went there because I watched the VOD from yesterday's stream between Toolshed and Tricky because I was out of town. I didn't make the Coal Patrol stream, so they ended up doing their own.
Yeah.
And I'm watching the VOD, and it dawned on me, and that's why I'm glad I have my team and I have there's people around me that help me look inward with shit. I noticed with Tricky especially and Toolshed, I mean both of them, what you see is what you get. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. Like when I'm talking to Toolshed on Discord, he's the same exact person when you turn the cameras on. He's the same exact dude, same with Tricky. And I started to notice with myself when yes. I started noticing with myself, I'm not that way. I'm not. I mean, to a degree I am. Like, right now I am. But I was angry at myself today, because I'm like, why am I not being true to myself? Why do I put on my customer service voice when I go live? You know, hey guy, you know, whatever. Like, why do I do that? Because, for those of you who have seen, like, when I'm live on Toolshed's channel, or Peaches invites me last minute, when I'm in his chat, or when I'm in there, I don't talk like how I'm talking right now. I talk like, yeah, man, we're just kind of hanging out. You know, it's a lot more monotone. I don't have that energy behind it, because in my mind, I'm not streaming right now. I'm hanging out with my guy friend, or yeah, I'm hanging out with the guys. I'm just vibing, and that's how I am IRL. I mean, you've lived with me. Most of the time, I just fucking sit there, and I'll read or I'll play a video game, and
yeah,
leave me the fuck alone.
For people that don't know, me and Grimm have lived with each other for a while.
Yes.
We know each other way too well at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Of what the shit we do.
Oh, yes.
Which is a good thing, let me tell you. It's very
good.
It
absolutely is.
I enjoy it.
And, but yeah, going off that, like, I was, like, talking with myself today. I'm like, why am I not that way when I'm on when I'm on Toolshed stream, when I'm on Tricky stream, when I'm anywhere else, doing a collab anywhere else other than my channel? Why am I not this, in a way? Like, why am I not myself? And I started thinking a lot more about it, and Meg's Mashables popped up on my Instagram. And I remember to myself, when I started streaming, I wanted to be Meg's Mashables. And not in a sense of, like, I want her community, or I want, you know, her numbers, or, you know, nothing like that. It was, I saw this woman who was genuinely just the sweetest person you could ever meet, who you were happy to be in her channel. She recognized you. She had this aura around her. And I know this is going to sound like a simp kind of thing, but I honestly mean it. And, like, that was a person that I thought, you know, because this was right after my separation, where I figured, I'm like, if I want to feel better, or I want to feel different than what I've felt my entire life, and I gotta act different than what I've done my entire life. And so I picked Meg to model myself off of, and that's why we did the family friendly streams and the art streams. And you were the first one to come out and say, like, dude, this is bullshit. You're not, this isn't you. It's not, I mean, you were the first one in chat to be like, hey, go fuck yourself. And it, like, ruin it. And I never came to block you because I knew you were right. I knew it wasn't quite who I was. And I thought more about that today because I thought, you know, what I'm doing when I'm streaming and the persona I'm putting out is still me. And that's something I've always struggled with, like, where does Dan end and where does Grimm begin? And so I've had to, you know, find that focus of, it's the same fucking person. Like, when I put on this persona, when I'm having fun with the guys, when we're making content, yeah, I put on this kind of character to make shit more interesting, to make shit more fun. But when the stream ends, I don't regret who I was. I don't regret... And there were obviously times where I've crossed a line or two, and I've had to apologize for that, you know, from, like, running my mouth the wrong way. But I've come to realize, like, that was who I became to get away from, you know, the shitstorm I was. Because I knew if I continued to be that person that I didn't like, I was never going to like myself. I was never going to... I was never going to change. I was never going to be something I could be proud of. And that's something I'm grateful for with the guys, and I'm still trying to come to terms with who I am on stream, because there's definitely an element, and you know as well as I do, when it comes to content creation, of how much of your soul do you show, or where do you draw the line of, this is a character, this is me, and I'm still trying to learn it, even after a year and a half.
Yeah, I've always looked at streaming, and we've talked about this before when I was going to start just doing streaming myself, and might in the future, who knows. I always looked at streaming as a performance, almost.
Right.
It was because you are never... You can get mostly of how a person is in their stream, but you're never going to get the complete 100%.
Yes.
Because to me, this is a different world. And this is a world that, as content creators, create. It is our world.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things to where we kind of set the pace and the tone for how we want the world to be exposed and how we want to be exposed. Like for instance, like you and me alike, we put ourselves a lot more out there to our personal stories and things like that than most people. That's just how we've always been.
Right.
But others, they kind of keep their personal lives, the behind the scenes, more so in the shadows. It's not a bad thing by any means, absolutely not.
No.
Everyone does things very differently, but it becomes a thing to where it's a choice that we make. Like, are we happy with how stuff is being presented? Are we happy with how we are at the time? I know I've had my fair share of stuff like that with dance. You know, the persona that I was pulling off, that I was becoming, good or bad, I had to draw a line to where does the mask stay on and Ethan comes on, and when does the mask come off and Ethan stays. That was always a scary thought because you don't know how people are going to react. And that's also a big thing.
And going off that, I started to realize one of the major things when it came to my burnouts and when I had to take a breather and take social media breaks and all this other shit from the stream was when I took those breaks, I went back to, that monotone kind of vibe. Like, I sat by myself in my room, I did my own things, and that's how I re-energized, is I had to have that persona out, and I had to let that get some air. And I realized if I'm one of the best decisions I made was stopping streaming 5 days a week, because and I was streaming, and I'm not trying to like make excuses or anything, but like I was streaming 5 days a week, 6 or 7 hours a day, and it's just you take someone who couldn't sit still in a classroom, who can't do one task for too long, and you force them to. Nobody forced me, I forced myself to do this thing where I'm sitting for 6 to 7 hours straight, where I'm doing this fucking activity, and then I wonder, like, okay, you literally put this persona out to the breaking point and forced yourself into scenarios where your heart is not in, and then you wonder why you knocked yourself the fuck out. Like, I ruined it for me. You and I have talked about this, I almost stopped streaming completely because of almost knocking myself the fuck out. And it's certainly a balancing act that I'm still trying to learn. Like, when you and I are playing games off stream, I'm still a different person to a degree, but I need to come to realize, like, when I'm putting on a persona or when I'm doing a certain activity, that doesn't necessarily make me a different person. It's just a different side of me. And I'm really trying to come to terms with that and not treat things as kind of like split personalities. Like, today I'm this, today I'm that, today I'm this. Because that was my worst coping mechanism, was trying to make my emotions into their own character so I could understand them better. I was like, well, I know English, like, I know how to read, so I'll just make my emotions a book character, and then I can understand them clearer. And then I came to realize that I was going fucking nuts. So I'm like, okay, well, today I'm this guy, and today I'm this guy, and trying to keep track of all that, it's like, dude, I would have had better luck sticking my nutsack in a stapler. It was horrible.
Honestly, that's where a lot of, at least for me, a lot of my dance personas came from in outfits. Was
Yeah.
So I was playing a character, different parts of myself,
Right.
that I couldn't just let out for the world to see, and that's one of the things that a lot of people forget, that at the end of the day is like, us as people, as artists, performers, content creators, at the end of the day, we're human. Like, we're not gonna get things completely right and things like that, and we're not always gonna be off. We're not gonna be our true selves in a lot of cases.
Right.
We're learning just as much as ever about the stuff and the world we live around, as same as everyone else. We try to just give the world a different perspective on life. We just try to do things differently.
There was a moment with you that has stuck with me for years. It was towards the end of your dancing career. Is you had made the comment.
Oh
it was you made a comment to me that you didn't like who you were when you were wearing the mask, so you didn't want to
I
dance with
did.
it anymore. And I remember
Which
that still strikes me to this day, because to me I was like, and I don't want to speak for you, so I would rather if you don't mind, I'll speak
yeah,
how I think
you
it means, and then you can correct me.
oh,
Um,
absolutely.
like I honestly thought it was like, you know, you were tired of trying to be that persona or like that this character for people to look at instead of, you know, the real you behind that mask in a way. Like you were tired of trying to be this figure in a way and wanted to become more to yourself, and you started dancing without your mask. I mean, I could be completely wrong about that. I could be like missing the point completely.
I I actually was tired of hiding. That was the whole thing. So the mask was me playing a character of not so much
Mm-hmm.
myself but other people. But the characters that I played had parts of me in them. Parts of me that I was ashamed of, parts of me that I was afraid of. I spent most of my life as a kind of person that took pride in how people looked at me. I was always
Yeah.
scared to be looked different. I I used the mask to let out my true feelings, my thoughts. And it even got to a point to where I was doing things to where I talked about how my like there was times where the dances that I did was like me talking about when my father left, when even how there's all this hate in the world, I just wanted to be better. There
Yeah.
was parts to where it was talking about abuse, addiction, things like that. I
Right.
and to me, I was all those people. Every single person that I was on stage was me. Parts of me that I could not accept, parts of me that I was scared of, and parts of me that I just wanted to not exist anymore.
Yeah.
And then I came to realize that they are me. I needed to accept them because the more I didn't accept them, the more I went into this dark hole of my own creation. The mask ended up being almost being a lie, to where I wore a mask but people still saw my face. It was I tried to cope with the fact that maybe I could just make it to where I didn't exist, when in turn I just made myself exist, and I couldn't make myself disappear, because once I let it out, it's out there now. There wasn't a place where I
Right.
could hide.
Yeah, you can't get it back. It's
It's
the
there.
beauty of the
Like,
world.
absolutely. And that was the biggest thing, because I remember at the end of it, I was disappointed in myself. I I lost track of why I did it in the first place. It got to the point to where I felt like I kept doing it because I needed something to prove. And because I strive so hard, I end up doing amazing things with dancing. I travel
Right.
and all that.
I
But
mean, you fucking dance with a Jabberwockies.
yeah, but it didn't make me happy. It was probably one
Right.
of the more depressing times of my life, because I wasn't having fun anymore. I wasn't enjoying it. And that was a very hard pill to swallow for me. A very hard pill to swallow. It 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 got to the point to where, like, I still dance to this day. I haven't hung up the the get up or anything. I just don't do it for people to see anymore. I do it for me now.
Right.
And for anyone that listens to this ever, and I will say this 100%, as someone who achieved their goal with and did everything they wanted to, there are some times to when you achieve those goals, you realize that it wasn't what you wanted, to where you sit there and you almost are shocked because you thought you would have a release. But a lot of times people forget that when you achieve a goal, you make another goal that's higher for yourself. And sometimes we hold ourselves to a higher expectation than what we can achieve at that time. And when we don't make that goal, we end up laying ourselves down and going down a spiral. I did that. I made myself have a goal after goal after goal, one higher than the next. And once I hit that peak, I put another pedestal on top. And then I crashed all the way down to where I hung up dancing almost completely for a long time. I could not find the music anymore.
Yeah.
Which is where a lot of the whole I am hanging up my mask, that was the whole thing. And now I've been more comfortable with myself and things like that, to who I am, to where if I do get back on stage, I will grab the mask again for one more performance, but it would be for a different meaning this time. It would be more so to the fact of, I'm doing this because it's for me, not to hide, but to show everyone
I like
the
that.
truth behind me. That was a big thing for me. And I've had many burnouts over the years to where my dancing, to my own content creating actually, and even my hobbies. On the whole thing of me as a whole, I am a very, very tabletop heavy person. I like games like
Definitely
Magic the
a top.
Gathering, Warhammer. Definitely a top. Ain't no bottom, bitch. No, no,
Mama didn't raise a bitch. Anyway.
I am very. I enjoy hobbies like that. Anyone that ever sees me in Discord or anything and ever wants to talk shit like Warhammer, Magic, Pokemon, things like that, I am always down for conversations like that. I enjoy it way too much. Dan has seen some of my paintings, my collection. It's unhealthy. It's 100% unhealthy. No, I wouldn't change it for a thing. I enjoy every second of it. But to me,
I think you still have your room.
What's left of it?
Yeah, in the Discord. I think you still have the room if you want to post in there. Unless I deleted it, I can't remember.
I don't know, but I'll put it in.
If not, I can
Discord
remake
if I
it.
can find old photos. I actually paint miniatures and things like that. Not well, but enough to where I enjoy what I do. Even I had burnout with that for a while. You can get burnout with almost anything, even your job. And I can't speak for Dan, but I definitely have had burnout with my job many times.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh.
Absolutely, I have.
But yeah, no, it was just always a thing for me. But yeah, me and Dan have been friends for many years at this point.
7 years now? Like 7? About that. Maybe 6? It doesn't really matter. More than 5.
I think more than 5, which is better, which is a big accomplishment for some people.
Yeah.
Our commitments to others is poor, but to each other, it's pure.
Hey, I am nothing but committed to shit. Except art school, my past jobs, my... That bitch Stacy. For those of you not in the know, Stacy's a complete Game Grumps joke. Shout out to that motorcycle. Stacy does not exist. It's a bit. She does not exist.
But,
I
yeah,
always like to make sure that people know that whenever I like refer to someone as a
yeah.
bitch, like they don't exist. Oh my god, go home and kiss your dad on the lips already. Shut the fucking bike off. Anyway.
No, but yeah, actually, the actual, like, me and Dan have always been there for each other through all of our ups and downs at this point, especially since we've been friends through them all.
I mean, my mom fucking loves you.
I know, and that makes me happy, honestly. When you told me that when I was at your house the other day, that made my day, 100%. 100%. But it did. But the
she still says it.
like a whole...
Not to interrupt you. She'll be like, "So who are you hanging out tomorrow for?" Like, you know, like Avery or somebody else. She'll look and she goes, "Is that the one I like?" I'm like, "No, that's Ethan." Oh, okay. Well, how's he doing? I'm like, he's at work, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's bussing. I don't know.
I'm bussing. I might as well go to a whole kind of origin story of like the name, actually how General Ghost became to be.
We played Call of Duty.
Yeah, actually, that was actually, the funny thing is, it was the first game that I actually sat down and played. Actually, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2 was the first one that I sat down and played. For the most part, I wasn't much of a video game person. I loved like tabletop games. I liked card games, things like that. So I liked Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, things like that.
Right.
It wasn't until I actually moved to Bellwood, that area, to where I actually started gaming for the first time. I got a Xbox 360, and I got... Jesus Christ.
Is that the cat?
Do you hear that? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, that was the first time I actually like sat down, made friends on like an online basis, and
I'm gonna have to censor so much of this VOD.
Can't wait.
We have doxed ourselves 3 times. Anyway.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
We got this. No. But
most amount of viewers I've ever had doxed ourselves 3 times. All right.
Would you want it any other way, though?
Absolutely not. I'm looking for hot singles in my area, preferably women, but I'm not opposed. Anyway.
Preferably women. That was actually the first time I sat down and played a game, and one of my favorite characters was Ghost from Modern Warfare 2. And I was like, what's a good way to go about it? And to me, I always thought Ghost was... To me, I didn't know. So before anyone comes at me for this, I didn't know what rank Ghost was in the game whatsoever. And if they said, I was oblivious to it. So I just immediately was like, all right, General. So I was like, General Ghost. And that is, from that point on, that has always been, it's either General Ghost or just Ghosts. And that was always the biggest thing, because I liked being able to just kind of just stay in the shadows and kind of just cruise my way through everything. But
Which honestly makes sense, considering we call you the Ghost Mod.
Oh yeah,
that's your nickname in the Cool Patrol chat, by the way. The Ghost Mod.
I love it.
Stretch.
Stretch. But my actually first love for gaming, to where I spent way too much time on playing a game, was actually Destiny. Destiny was my first real love for a video game that I was actually going to sit there and grind and do everything in that game.
Yeah.
And I would never change that, because even to this day, I take a lot of how I felt during that time and I put into all the other games we have played over the years, whether it's on stream or off stream. It's just how we do things. It's like, it's the passion, it's the love for it, it's the ability to be able to hang out with the buds and just kind of sit down and just chill.
Yeah.
Those were like some of the best times. Like even during God, what was, for people that don't know, it's a dead game now, which rest in peace. Battleborn was my
Battleborn.
Was
I still fucking love that game.
Our game. I still do too. I hope someone brings it back.
Horror Queen cosplay is a big Battleborn fan, and when I found that out when I first met her, I was like, "Oh, please date me." I was like, "Oh, that's weird." I never told her that, obviously, because it was like, "No, don't do that. You're fucking creepy. Don't say that." And I never did, obviously. So I'm like, I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, I'm a stranger from the internet, and I was wondering." Like, no, I never told her.
Thinking. No, but that was our first real love for like just gaming together. I think.
Oh, absolutely,
it was our game to play. That was
that and Borderlands, yeah.
Yep. Oh gosh.
Borderlands 2, baby.
Yeah. Yep. Oh god, that game was still so
Borderlands 2. Fucking Krieg the Psycho. Hell yeah, man.
Zero. I will still stand by the whole thing, to where I will never change my alias of Ghost ever. I that's probably where, like, if I start like streaming or anything, or if I go back to doing YouTube again, I'll definitely probably be taking that name with me. Hopefully.
You are the actual reason why the sub badges on this channel are ghosts. Because I saw them and I was like, that's fucking perfect.
Hell yeah.
Yep, that is why the emblems are ghosts. So I was like, that's fucking Ethan right there. Yep, that's why.
My mark has been
so
made.
Anybody who's not a first member and they have the actual sub badges, they're ghosts. Yeah, that's why.
Oh god, that's awesome. But yeah,
that name were free.
Gaming has always been. Yeah. Hey, I will take the pity comfort any day.
Dude, balling on a budget, man. Take what you get.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I will. Oh, I've done that with miniatures, and I've never been disappointed yet. I will say, ever since then, gaming has been a big part, and kind of for a good reason. Not even so much for where my life has been synced into games. It's just it's an escape. It's a nice like fantasy or sci-fi world to go part of. In the comforts of my own like safety bubble.
I've been finding that with manga recently, is just how much I escape to manga and anime. I mean, just today, this literally just happened today, where we got the beer pong table, we got the pool table behind you. Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro got added. Spy Family got added down there. Then I added Demon School, because I had open space over there, too. And then, Teasing Master Takagi-san is next to the Bell poster. Like, because it dawned on me, like, my life has literally become, outside of work, but I don't regret how I spend my evenings anymore. And that, to me, that's fucking huge, because it used to be like, I go to work, I come home, I get on my fucking video game, and go until I pass out. And now it's like, all right, maybe I'll play a video game for about an hour, and then, you know, maybe Tollshed starts streaming, or Tricky streaming, or Roxy streaming, or anybody in the community streaming, and then I can have their stream up as I'm reading a manga. And that, to me, is so fucking peaceful. Like, those are my moments that I feel incredible. Like, I still have it's like coexisting with somebody living in your house. Like, even though you're not doing the same fucking thing, it's still nice to have them there. So it's very weird that technology can do that, because like right now you and I are sitting here talking, and there are times where I forget I'm in VRChat because, you know, I'm in VR, and it feels like you're just sitting next to me and we're just having a conversation. And that's the whole reason why I decided to do this in VRChat, is to give that illusion as though, you know, you're right next to me, to help the flow of the conversation. And but yeah, it's definitely been a huge escape. And my favorite thing, chat, even if I don't necessarily message you back and say just how cool it is, I want this to be known. When people message me on Discord and say, try this manga or try this anime, I love that shit. It is so damn good. Like, even if it's not like a genre that I necessarily vibe with, the fact that people are like, dude, I fuck with this, and I think you would fuck with this. It's so cool to me. Like, Tola and I do that especially, where he'll be like, hey, I started this anime, you might like it, and he'll, or I'll be like, hey, I started reading this manga, you gotta fucking add it to the list of shit that I'm making you read. And and I mean, without that, without Roxy, I would never probably would have found Welcome to Demon School, which is currently like my third favorite anime of all time. And the manga is so fucking good. Read the manga, chat. I think it's called After School Iruma-kun is the actual manga name, but check out the manga. But yeah. There's definitely that hobby or that escapism when it comes to shit that you were saying about getting burnt out. I think I did that with video games, where I've been doing the same fucking thing for what, 20 fucking years.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm 25, but I've been playing games since I was a fucking kid.
Yeah, and like that's one of the whole things, and like the only time like when you're burned out and you normally don't feel burned out is when you're with buds, when you're with your friends and things like that, because at that point in time it's not because of the gaming that you're there, it's because you're with them. And just kind of chilling out, having conversations.
We've done that a lot of times in video games, especially like we've had our moments of like with World of Warcraft and shit, and even Final Fantasy, where like we'll meet up in the game, but we won't fucking do anything. We're just sitting there like we're doing right now and just bullshit. And like it doesn't necessarily matter, or like sitting in a Call of Duty lobby instead of playing the fucking game, just shoot the shit and hang out. And I think, and that was another reason why I started to stream, is to have more people to do that with, to just shoot the shit. And Kiba, it's good to just chill and feel there. Yeah, definitely. I totally hear that, man. It is nice just to feel like you're there.
I'll definitely say this: if anyone in chat, if it has any questions or anything, like it doesn't even have to pertain to this whole thing as a whole, just questions about either Grimm, me, or anything, feel free to ask.
Absolutely. Even though I'm not reading the chat out loud, for those of you who don't know, I have the chat right here on my arm. So when you guys see me look down like this, I'm reading the chat. And I have the whole stream pulled up right here on my left arm.
Yeah, I have the chat up on my phone too, so I am also looking at you guys as well. So like any questions, anything,
100% we see you.
Absolutely, we see you and we're watching you. We know what you're doing right now.
Don't say it like that.
Timmy, go do your homework. I know school's out, but you gotta finish it.
Jesus saw you masturbating, and so did I.
Oh gosh.
You know, it's disturbing to hear clapping coming from over there and not seeing your hands move, so now I'm just terrified.
I'm over there, man. I'm over there. No. Oh gosh. Oh man. And then this becomes nightmare fuel. And you know what? I'm here for it. Yep.
Oh, 9 o'clock.
You know what? Since we're kind of just at this point, we're kind of just shooting the shit right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I want to do a hot take right now.
You have the floor.
And you will 100% agree with me on this, and I'm only bringing this up.
Is it that Nirvana sucks?
Yes. No. No, it's the whole thing, and I don't know if I'm just being an elitist kind of person. The whole revealing of Modern Warfare 2 coming back kind of deal. Did you see that?
No. No, I didn't.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna look for. There was a
okay.
trailer, I believe.
I'm gonna be real with you for a moment. I have not seen like anything for video games, but I fangirled when I saw that they were coming out with a teasing Takagi-san movie. I legitimately fangirled, like, flappy arm fangirled when I saw that shit. And it was like, only in Japan. Fuck! Fuck! Now I gotta wait and not legally obtain it. But
I'm saying it to you now to
oh, thank you.
Later or right now, whatever you want to do.
And yeah.
I don't know. I
fangirled so fucking hard, man.
It's very hard with certain things not to fangirl over. I mean, to be fair, I mean, as you know, for me, I absolutely love Pokemon and things like that.
Yes.
The stuff that I've been seeing for like the teasers and stuff for some of the new Mons, God, nothing will ever go past Lechonk, ever.
Lechonk.
I will make that work forever. I literally was a part of a discussion to where we were trying to figure out how he would wear pants. Literally make him the biggest man around. Like, would he wear them like from? Let me see if we can find them.
Like his back two legs are all four kind of deal, like covering the rump or just like the belly.
Oh, absolutely. That's what the whole conversation was about. Like, that was it. Oh, God. Like, things like that. Like, I'll forever. Pokemon will always have a place in my heart as being one of my favorite franchises ever.
Right.
And I'll always go to it forever. I enjoy it way too much. But yeah, no, I saw the whole thing for Modern Warfare 2 after they kind of gave us Vanguard, and personally, I think it's probably my least favorite COD out of all the ones I've played, which is very upsetting to me because I was excited.
Yeah, considering it beat out Ghosts.
Yeah, no, and that was the big thing. But it was probably their least grossed games. One of them.
Yeah.
And they blamed it on the fact that it was just because it was set in World War II. That was literally their excuse for why it didn't do well. Not even like the gameplay or anything like that. Because the game itself is very fast paced. Like,
yeah.
Like, way quicker than, like, BO4 kind of deal.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, there are times to where you just drop. And it's hard to explain what happened.
Yeah.
It was very, like, it's very iffy. I was excited for it because I could use the STG, because World War II Call of Duty, that was the baby weapon for me, to where for you was the shovel.
I like my melee weapons.
Oh yeah, but
Love melee and knives.
Oh, it is very fun to do melee in that game. I have made people rage quit already in that game because of it. It's kind of very entertaining, actually. But anyway, no, I just was. To me, shooters to me right now, especially ones that go through the same pattern as Call of Duty, are, in my opinion, losing their touch and their grip.
Yes.
I've seen it with Halo 2, especially with the recent one. I've seen a lot of backlash for that too, and
it wasn't,
to me, it's surprising.
Bad. Like, the gameplay itself wasn't bad. The loot box, or like the purchases are bad, but fucking, did you see the shit Diablo Immortal's getting?
Oh, actually,
oh my god, that was labeled. That was labeled by a lot of people as like the biggest money grab game they've ever fucking seen. And for that to beat out Mario Kart World Tour is insane. Like, holy fuck.
That itself was very... And here's the sad thing, too, is like, I know you were excited for it because it was a mobile Diablo game,
Yeah.
We haven't had a good Diablo game to grind our teeth into because we've played Diablo 3 a lot, and we've gone and grinded a lot of the gear that we wanted. Now, now that's on the Switch. We haven't done anything on PC or anything.
I can't play it on PC. I can't do point and click to fucking walk around. I hate that shit. I know elitists are like, well, that's the way it's supposed to be played. Fuck you, sir.
No, but like, I am like, that to me is like, it makes me worried for games coming out for almost
I can agree to that.
Like
because
here's the thing, like Overwatch 2 looks very enticing to the fact of it feels different. Like, even visually looking at it, it looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've done a lot of fixes. There's not a lot of crowd control elements. There's only like maybe 3 crowd control elements on characters. So it's more so just the gameplay itself, which is very nice. Like, for instance, Mei doesn't freeze anymore. She just slows.
Interesting. Kind of dumb, but I see why.
Yeah. Because it's obnoxious to, like, just sit there, get hit for a little bit, and then die. Especially But that was the
well,
thing.
you could try getting good. I mean... I'm
that's
kidding, obviously.
People do not like that response. People do not
That's
like that
why
response
I said it.
You're joking.
100% why I said it.
Oh, God. But...
I bet you're a bronze rank.
Also with,
unranked garbage.
I even feel that way with... WoW right now. Because it's one of those
WoW
things
anymore.
where we're getting to a point, it feels like, to where everything's going to be bought. Like, I feel like we're going to get to a point to where, like, you can buy gold now. You used to not be able to do that. Like, with those tokens. On top of, like, a lot of the grinding kind of just ceases to a halt. The main purpose of MMORPGs, And, like, for people that know that we love Final Fantasy, you 100% can do the same, but it's not at to me, it's not as negative as WoW, in a way. And
Chat
I
commands
think
are
it's
all
because
shut off
I
during
brought,
podcast. Anyway.
but yeah, no, I see Blizzard having a massive decrease because, like, for someone who like me, I love Hearthstone and things like that. I and like I love Hearthstone and stuff. I love my card games, but even then, it's starting to become more of a cash grab thing. It seems like it.
Yeah.
With the sets and things like that, but I'll say that's
when I saw
a big issue with a lot of games right now.
Oh yes, when I saw how fucking bad Immortal was, like, even though it's not the same game, that completely eliminated any chance of me going back to WoW. So I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, especially in a game like WoW, where you're paying for a monthly membership to fucking play the thing. It's like, hey, while you have your wallet out, here's some more shit. Like, how about what happened to this just being the game instead of, oh, hey, by the way, now we have to pay for all our lawyer fees and shit because, you know, our upper management is absolute dog shit and we treat our employees horribly. How would you like to spend another $60 on this game? Nah.
and that was
made your bed and I'll sleep in it.
Yeah, no, and that's a big thing. It's becoming more and more like that, and it's just become worse. Sadly, it's just how it's been.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And like, I don't absolutely hate. I'll say this: I don't absolutely hate those games. I'm just disappointed to how a lot of that stuff is right now.
That hurts so much more. It's like, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah. Like a game that you love dearly is now just sitting on deathbed almost.
Mm-hmm.
And just hurts.
Yeah, I can't. I can't touch WoW anymore. I can't. It's just a fucking cesspool of garbage. Like, I don't see the point of even considering at this point to purchase a membership or anything. I when you and I were talking, because those of you who don't know, the current Final Fantasy membership I have that you paid for, it was very nice of you. When you said about us playing it again, I thought to myself, I'm like, ah, shit, no one's actually gonna play it anymore. Like, what's the point? And then it was like, I've been playing with Toolshed, I've been playing with you. I'd like to play with Tricky sometime if possible. But, like, I've been playing with the community. It's like, oh, this is what MMOs are supposed to be, is me playing with my friends. And not me running around as a stealth rogue for 80 hours trying to run out these fucking missions that the internet tells me that I have to complete in order to unlock the Moon Elves or the Void Elves or other shit. And it being wrong, so I have to spend 80 more hours grinding out more shit just to get an allied race. Like, fuck that, man.
Yeah, it was definitely not the best. Like, but it happened.
Yeah.
That's kind of just how it is. It was a part of stuff we did, 100%. Did it suck? Absolutely.
I will never forget when Final Fantasy 15 came out. This was back when I was living with my first roommate. And you probably remember this too. I'm not the type of person to expose my body. I'm not. Like, I was the kid who wore hoodies in like 95-degree weather, if not hotter. Like, jeans all year round. I'm that guy. And, so I'm in my house. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going anywhere else tonight. It's late. And it was like midsummer, and like that house did not have air conditioning. Trying to do any airflow through that was, you weren't gonna win.
It was
So I was like, you know
awful.
what? Shirt's coming off in all of my glorious appearance, which is a joke, by the way. But the shirt comes off. I'm sitting in the living room playing Final Fantasy 15, and the roommate at the time, his girlfriend just casually walks into my fucking house, or walks into the apartment with her friend. So like they just walk into my apartment, like didn't knock or anything, just right in. Old roommate's sleeping because he has to work the night shift, so he's sleeping until he has to wake up for work. And I'm sitting there completely shirtless, just jeans on, playing my game. And I think this was one of the weirdest moments for me in my life, even though it wasn't that big of a deal, is before that moment, like, had I been, like, living with my mom or something and some shit like that would have happened, or if I would have been visiting and I would have been shirtless, then I would have been like, oh my god, my body, and like, hurry up, cover. But in that moment, I'm like, you walked into my house. I'm not getting dressed for you. Like, you didn't knock. This is what you're gonna get, man. Like, this is, I'm not fixing this situation. And so she's in the entryway, or like that little, like right inside the door. Her friend stays there. So her friend's just kind of awkwardly standing in a corner. And the girlfriend walks in, and I'm like, don't wake him up, he's sleeping for work. So she walks into his room, wakes him up. She comes back into the living room. I'm like, what the fuck did you just do? I'm like, there's a reason why the TV's down low, so I don't wake him. Why would you do that? And I remember him coming out, and oh my god, the look on his face was just pure anger. And she's sitting there smiling and giggling, and she's making fun of me to him. Like, she's like calling me a loser and shit, because I'm sitting there playing my game, and saying like how I'm not good at it and everything. And I'm just like part of me wanted to just tell her to get the fuck out. It's like, you're not gonna disrespect me in my own apartment or my own home. That doesn't happen. But I had to fight that idea. I'm like, but it's his girlfriend. Like, he pays the same amount to be here as I do. I can't overstep him with this. I have to let him make this decision, and then we can talk about it later. In privacy when she's not there. So I'm like, you know what? Cool off, just focus on my game. Fuck her. Who cares? And, what a bitch. Thank you, Jet. And, so she's like, do you want to hang out? He goes, no, I work tonight. And she just kept, like, making jokes against me, trying to make him laugh, and he's just having none of it. Like, it was so one of the most awkward moments of my life, because the friend who came with her did not know what the fuck to do. She was in such an awkward position, but I didn't want to talk to him, like, hey, you can sit on the couch, because I'm already on the couch and I'm shirtless. So for me to be like, hey, why don't you come to have a seat? It's like, honey, I'm not putting my milk duds away. I'm not. If the boys come to the yard from these milkshakes, that's fine. I'm not covering myself. You came into my house. This is on you. And but yeah, I was so fucking thankful when they broke up. I even told him that. I'm like, I flat out remember telling him, I'm like, I'm glad she's gone. Keep her the fuck out. And she was actually the main reason why I started locking my door whenever we were home. That and when I started dating my most recent. Yeah, she would just walk into our fucking house. And, I mean, we grew up.
That was just how it was.
Yeah, I mean, in our small town, people never fucking lock their doors, because, like, nothing ever happens, ever. But,
Yep.
But after that, I'm like, okay. The moment I walk into my house, click.
Do you remember that time where all of us, because we all were dating someone at the time, all of the respective couples were at the house and we were playing Jackbox, and do you remember me pissing off him and her so much?
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah, that was bad.
I will never regret doing that ever.
I regret one joke ever on Jackbox. And that was the one that referenced my girlfriend at the time. Because I made a joke, like, at you, but involved her. And I remember getting a message, like, after it happened, that it really upset her. I was like, oh my god, I'm a fucking moron. Like, I apologize profusely for it. I won't say it on stream because it's disrespectful. But yeah, I ended up apologizing a lot for that. But yeah, he was one of those, back to the original thing, he was so fucking easy to piss off. Like, dude, I made a sport out of that. Like, to show you what a sick bastard I am when it came to this. When I was dating the
Seth full of how we were as a person.
Yeah.
Outside
when I was dating Allie. What, Allie? Angel. It was Angel. And before anyone's like, oh, your dog. No. When I was dating Angel, this was when her neighbor collapsed, and
shit.
In her house, and we couldn't get into the house or whatever. Like, we tried getting into the back door or whatever to get to her, and we couldn't. And I think like the front door was locked or some shit. I forget how it worked out. But our old roommate about knocked me over at one point trying to run past me. And he's like, move, or some shit. Because he wanted to get in. It was, she was conscious, but she had fallen and she couldn't get back up. And he goes, move. And I don't know what possessed me to say it. I didn't even think about saying it. I'm like, you know, most people say excuse me. Like, we're in this moment of getting into this woman's house to make sure Ahmed can get there, to make sure, and the thing was, he was a firefighter slash like Ahmed trained, and I remember him just panicking the entire time, like he was freaking out, and maybe it was a stressful moment. But it was one of those things of like, even in that moment, I still was being an asshole. Like, there was no, it wasn't like my brain was like, all right, let's pause for a little bit. And I don't have that filter, and I wish I did. Because even when I get injured, I still make fucking jokes. I mean, you know that as well as I do. And
yes. Very much so.
Yeah, and I'm not good at being. I don't always know the right thing to say in situations, but I probably am gonna make a joke. Like, hey, my parents are getting a divorce. That sucks. Was it your fault? Like, it's not okay to say that. That didn't happen. But
conversations we have had.
Like, god damn, man. Like, I'm not good at that shit. And I realized that with the one girl I was dating when her parents were splitting up. And I was like, what do I say? What do I say? What do I say? So I said nothing. And I hugged her and I looked at her and I smiled and she started giggling. And I was like, okay, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Just, the smile is fine. Keep your fucking mouth shut. say nothing. like, fuck that, man. But,
yeah, I think that David was just heated too, because I think we kind of were having the same issue that we had at that one time when we were all together, to where we felt like it was almost like a contest in a way, and we just kept getting annoyed.
oh yeah,
like a battle between, and that was like a big thing for us, is that we absolutely hated it.
I don't like, and you were the same way. And I feel like everybody's this way. I don't like being the guy that people put down to look better in front of others. And when that happens, I don't always act appropriately. And
I will say this, in your defense,
that's a huge pet peeve for me.
Yeah, in your defense, during that whole situation, especially during that time when we were all together, I forget, I don't think he even gave me a reason why. It's like, when we were all together, I was always the target for some reason.
Yeah.
And that night was more so me getting back at both of them at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, I knew how much that whole situation was making you angry, which made me angry. And I knew 100%, it's like, oh, great. It's like, now we have this shit storm coming on.
Right.
That was just always how it was.
Guys will bash on each other. Everybody knows that. Guys will throw shit, and I mean, I do it with all the guys. Yeah, but everybody has their boundaries, and everybody has that point where you just need to shut the fuck up. Like, I don't. You and I made this agreement unintentionally, but I never make gay jokes about you because I don't. One, I mean, nowadays, like, when we realize, like, oh, that shit's not funny. But back then, you know, what do you get? You know, like, that was rampant. But it was like, I would never make jokes about you being gay, and in return, you never made jokes about my weight, because, like, of the issues that I had growing up. And so, to me, that was, like, an unwritten rule. Like, that is, like, I will joke with anybody. If Roxy, you're a boy. I'll joke with anybody, but like, don't bring my fucking weight into it, because unintentionally, when you do that, my jokes are no longer fucking jokes. At that point, it becomes an underground rap battle, and I will personally find a shit that you do not like about yourself, and I will use it. And, and I don't like that about myself, but that's my trigger. That's mine.
I think what I found being my trigger is just being put down, period. The whole thing is like when it's not warranted. I am one of the first people to admit when I fuck up. I will admit to it right away, and I will step back when I realize I do. Be like, I'm sorry. It's like, I was out of line. Like,
right.
And I'll even ask if I'm like doing things out of line. I've done that with Dan several times on after streams with him, making sure that stuff that I say doesn't go too far, because I have a habit of doing that sometimes, and Dan can attest
that.
To
is
that.
very important. Like,
yeah.
And I apologize for kind of cutting you off in sentence there.
No, you're good.
Roxy does that. Whenever I say something that crosses the line that she does not like, she'll message me, and she'll be like, hey, I wasn't comfortable with this joke, or I didn't like this, and that's what I fucking want. Like, let me know if I say something that offends you. Like, if you're one of my close friends, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to apologize, because maybe I didn't think it the whole way through. But if it's one of those things like, hey man, you said that Nirvana sucks and I resent that, oh, pick a better band. I'm not going to apologize for that. But if I'm making fun of, like, if I make like a religious joke, and it does not fly over well, then yeah, I should apologize for that. It wasn't a good joke to make. But I will make fun of your music interest, because I make fun of my own, and that's fun for me. I mean, obviously, like whatever the hell you want, just don't be a basic bitch. Take pride in your interests.
Absolutely.
Don't watch Attack on Titan. I have nothing against that show. I just know Tricky hates it, so I knew it would make him laugh if he heard me say that. I've never watched a fucking episode.
Yeah, I haven't either. But yeah, no, me and as much as like, especially you and me, like to joke, like about everything. Like,
yeah,
with you and me, nothing is safe. Because that's how we are, you know.
Yeah.
But there are certain instances to where we have to catch ourselves sometimes when we have to realize when we're out in public or the camera's on. You know?
Yeah, I've done that.
Sometimes.
I've done that a few times because I throw jokes. I throw shade at your dad. That's something I do.
For people that don't know, my folks are divorced, and it's been a constant joke because of how, when I was living with Dan would always say, it's like, your dad should pay me child support and things like that, and I find it absolutely fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, nothing about that upsets me. It's one of those things to where, you know what? He should.
Yeah, and there are times, like, I've made that joke on stream, and I have been private messaged about that by people who are offended by something I said to you. Yeah, that's why... I just punched my fucking monitor. That's why when you and I are joking, and I don't make dad jokes on stream anymore, because other people are offended by it. Which I thought was kind of weird, but I can't control what people are offended by. But yeah, I don't... I try to hold back on that shit, because it's... For those of you... For the people who don't know that you and I go back how many fucking years... And it was the same thing with Roxy. When Roxy and I were fucking picking on each other when we were playing golf, the only thing people saw was me picking on a 5-year-old because she has a quiet voice. They're like, why are you bullying her? And I'm like, she's older than me. She started it. You couldn't hear it. It's like, nobody hears. Nobody sees the first strike. They only see your response to it. So I'm the asshole because I return fire. And having to explain... Yeah. Like, having to explain live on Tricky Twitch's channel that Roxy is not a 5-year-old. She was 28 fucking years old. I'm not... I didn't bring in...
Roxy is a bully.
I didn't bring in my baby. Yeah, I didn't bring in my baby like...
Love you, Roxy.
Take the baby! Like, that didn't happen.
Oh, God.
First strike was in the DMs. Yeah.
See, and that's the whole thing. It's like... Oh, and, Kiba, to go off people being offended by dad jokes. Yeah, well, some people are not comfortable because of stuff that happened with their parents and things like that. And people, for a lot of cases, don't like talking about it. Like me, I openly talk about it all the time because it's a very big part of my life, that whole thing, you know? And to me, making those jokes is funny because in reality, there's kind of some truth behind it. To me, but I understand why people get a little bit cross with it. But people have to understand to where we're gonna act how we act, and you can't. You have to respect that. Sometimes the people know each other. That's why we make it apparent where you guys know that I have known Grimm for so long. I've known Dan for so long because it makes a lot of how we interact with each other more understandable. You guys understand it a lot more.
And going off that,
I
I
know.
think it's very important to say that seeing somebody else do something does not give you consent to do that thing. So, you might make a joke about, my depression or some shit because you've always been there for me. But if someone random in chat were to make a joke about that, your ass is getting banned, motherfucker. Like, you really have to know your audience, or your target audience of who you're saying something to. I know some people don't think about that, because, like, I make jokes to some of my fellow streamers, and then I go to new streamers who I've never met before, and I try to make that same joke, and they're like, you're funny. Like, oh, they don't think I'm kidding. They think I'm being an asshole. And, because, my sense of humor is sometimes very dry. So it definitely comes down to, that point of, like, you gotta make sure that the person that you're joking with is okay with you personally making that joke. And, like, and again, like prime example, if you and I were to make a joke like, oh, this place sucks, or, this is awful, I'm like, oh, so is your ex-girlfriend, like, ha 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 ha, whatever.
Yeah.
But if it was like, some rando in chats, like, when I was like, oh, this is awful, it's like, so is your ex-girlfriend, so yeah, don't you fucking disrespect people. Like, get out. There's definitely a line there.
Absolutely.
That, because, I mean, I made it abundantly clear with my ex-fiance, I do not allow myself or anybody in its community to talk shit about her, because one, it's not necessary, and two, it's extremely disrespectful. And and it has absolutely nothing to do with, like, oh, I want her back, I'm still in love with her. Like, I'm over that part of my life, but I still accept the fact that I had a lot of fucking memories with her. She was a large part of my life. And for me to sit here and be like...
She was. Absolutely.
Yeah, and for me to sit here and be like, I see a huge monster on my screen, like, oh, it's my ex. Like, no. I don't like those jokes. I don't think they're funny.
Tasteless.
Yes, and those are the things that, if you and I are off stream, and you make a quick quip about it, it's like, okay. And then we move on, and we don't, you don't make a bit of it. It's fine. But, like, if it's, like, live on stream and shit like that happens, and it's like...
Oh,
that, yeah.
That takes it
that's not okay. Yeah, that's completely too far. I have jokes about my ADHD, but it's always, did you know that there are over 1,000 kinds of spiders? But,
See, and, like... Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit more personal with Ghost here in a second. Like, me, there are, like, certain things that I will not joke about and things like that. Like, a lot of us have our, like, points of, like, we don't talk about. And
yes.
For me in particular, like, one big thing is children deaths. Is that something I will not talk about?
Right.
For, like, the most part. It's like, I will, like, say things here and there, but that's about it. And that's because of personal things in my life of losing that such thing.
Yeah.
It's just finding that balance. And, like, I've personally never had to pull someone aside to have a conversation with them about it, because it's always been never it seemed like in a foul way. And that's one thing that people forget. It's like, when you're going to go up to someone and communicate with them, no matter what it is, make sure you know how the person is.
Yes.
Because you can't... It's hard to sit there and expect someone to be different with you when that's how they've been their entire life.
Right.
Like, you can ask, like, to be like, hey, can you, like, maybe tone this down a little bit? Like, me and Dan have done that to each other a handful of times.
Yep.
because we respect one another to respect each other's boundaries. But there's also that fine line of, I know how he is. I'm gonna tell him about it, but if he accidentally slips up, I'm not gonna like, oh, I hate Dan. He's dead to me. No.
Yeah.
Because he understands, and most people when they mean good, it's like they will say, it's like, hey, I'm sorry if this was out of line. I honestly didn't think about it at the time. Like, usually it.
Yeah. And going off that, I mean, how I mentioned about how people in the community have messaged me about like some of the jokes that I've made that they're not comfortable with. Those jokes were never made again on stream by me. Like I've never made those jokes again, because it's like, you specifically asked me and specifically told me like, hey, I'm not comfortable with this, and so that's the way it needs to be. It needs to be this open communication, and I understand if I'm larger in like numbers and everything, I can't respond to every fucking message. I can't tailor to every fucking person. It's impossible. So it's gonna take time for me to find that area of like, this is okay, this is not okay, and not to cross that line in the middle, and to figure out like what I'm comfortable personally joking about. Because like you said about like child death, I'll make a joke like when you see like a child on screen, I'm like, dude, just fucking punt that thing. Like, I'll joke about that, but I don't joke about like crib death or like abortions or anything tragic like that, because that's way too bad in taste, where it's like, I don't like that. If it's, I don't even joke about like real kids getting injured. Like I'll sit here and be like, yeah, and I'll make a joke like, oh, my niece is an asshole, but I'm in ha funny, but I'm not gonna sit there and be like, sometimes I just like, you know, just like act like I'm drowning them. Fuck no, like that. No. A child in Skyrim, yes, yeet the baby, yeet, like fucking 3-pointer, sure. But the moment, and it's the same thing with people, like the moment you start making it a real thing is the point where you need to stop. Yes, I'm cool with dark jokes. I'm cool with dark humor. It's the point where you clearly crossed a line. Like, we use the name Stacy whenever, like, just a throwaway name to refer to someone. But the moment that, you know, I start using an actual name from somebody to, like, refer to something stupid, that's where it's not okay. Or, like, when I'm referring to an actual person. Like, that's not okay. Good deaths is a bad taste. Yeah, like, that's... And that's a main thing. Like, we don't... I don't like joking about that, because... I mean, like you said, I mean, people close to me have gone through this shit. I mean, I'm still fucking scarred from my pregnancy scare. All those years back, I'm still fucking scarred by that, because of everything that surrounded that. I'm still, that one moment in my life is literally preventing me from having kids ever in my life, because I'm fucking terrified that something like that could happen again. And because of that, like, I'm not gonna take something that was so life-changingly tragic to me and make a joke about it and insult somebody who might have also gone through something, or it, like, no. That's, I don't like that. It's not how I want the stream to be. In any manner. It's bad taste, as Kiba called it, and I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, and like, it's okay. Like, if you want, like, talking about that stuff and like in stream to like like to kind of like explain why. Like you don't have to, like even just like a message like, hey, this is why I don't appreciate this comment or something. Like
yes.
Like absolutely.
The only reason I say about private messaging it is because
that's why I corrected myself, because I was like,
yeah. Yes, private message, please, because I don't want other people jumping on to like, oh, why are you offended by this? What are you, a fucking pussy? Like, I don't want that. Like, because like we said, everybody has their line where it's like, I mean, do I think sometimes that you should just be like, all right, I didn't like that joke, brush it off and move on? Yeah, absolutely, I think that. But if something is like consistently like not okay or doesn't vibe with you, I mean, that's the point where it's like, hey, or if I'm making a joke towards you, and it, like, that's the big one. To me, that's the big one. If I make a joke or if I'm trying to do a bit that you're involved in and you don't like it, please let me know, because at that point when you're not in on a joke, it's bullying. That 100% that becomes bullying. And I don't want to bully anybody out of the community. I don't want it to be like, well, Grimm always picks on me when I go into a stream. Like, that wasn't the idea. The idea was just to throw shit back and forth. Not like, hey, that kid in particular, fuck him. No. We don't want to do that. That's too far. We don't want anything to do with that. But holy shit, I've consistently had more viewers than the other two put together. Fuck you! There's a reason I'm a leader. I'm totally kidding. Anyway.
No, like that's just a big thing. It's like we are all about like joking. Like that's a real big thing about me and Dan. Is like if we don't bully you in some way, like in a playful way, we don't like you.
Yeah, pretty much. And
we find comfort in the connecting of us basically taking shots at one another.
Yeah, and part of that comes with accepting your shortcomings. And I think that's really fucking important. Like, I'll make fun of Avery all the fucking time when it comes to grammar. And it's not to be like a quote-unquote grammar Nazi or something. It's just, it pisses him off and it makes me laugh. But he'll get me back when it comes to my tics. And, like how I sometimes have to scratch random objects, or it literally feels like my skin is melting off. And he'll just look at me and be like, hey man, is this light bulb itchy? And I'll just like, dude, go fuck yourself. Like, that's the shit. Where, like, he knows where to hit, and I know where to hit. And it's just, it's...
Game on!
Yeah, like, there's, yeah. To me, there's a safe time to say guys will be guys. But that does not cover being toxic or being inappropriate to a degree where it's making other people uncomfortable. At that point, you're not being a guy. You're being a dick.
You're just being
and that is
an
a
asshole.
huge difference. Yeah, like, don't do that. I mean, every now and again, we fall into being a dick, but just... And that's where it's nice to have those friends that will flat out tell you, like, hey man, you're not on top of your game right now, or you're not... Or you could be one of those douchebags on the internet, but King, your crown fell. Go fuck yourself, I hate that garbage. I fucking hate that stupid idea. Oh, you dropped this and you're holding a crown. Like, fuck off. Like, because I see it over the stupidest shit. This is 100% fucking real. This is 100% real. A real thing that I saw on Instagram. it was this thing about how guys were apparently afraid to wipe themselves because having fingers in your butt was considered gay. And what the fuck, first off. But secondly, I saw this meme that was like, when you wipe yourself, even though it might be considered gay, and then underneath it was like, you drop this and it's a crown. It's like, it was probably self-aware that it was fucking stupid. But like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Just, you don't have to act like fucking royalty by doing basic shit. Like, for me, when I started bathing again, coming out of my depression, I was embarrassed that I wasn't fucking bathing. I was embarrassed that I wasn't fucking shaving. But I'm not gonna go down to the fucking trophy store and get myself a brand new medal or some shit because, like, congratulations, you washed your clothes this week. Like, no! Like, I realize there's a way that you're supposed to fucking act. Why are we acting like someone is deserving of royalty by just being self-aware? Like, you can say, like, hey man, good job. You can motivate them, sure, but this whole stupid, like, you dropped it. Fuck you. I hate those people. I can't stand that, man. I can't stand it. That is my hot take for the night. There will be more, probably. Like, I can't stand that shit. It's fucking annoying. Or
I don't
the whole
you. I really don't.
The whole Chad thing. I don't get the joke. And maybe I'm showing my age. It's
dude,
fucking stupid.
I'll tell you what,
it's fucking stupid.
I don't get it either, but I'm still going to say it just because I know it grinds the gears out of some people like you.
Yeah, like like the fucking like
that
Chadwick meme where it's like, oh, I'm better than you because I have this opinion. Like, fucking die. And now you could put Chad as a tag on your Twitch stream, and
wait, that's a thing
it's Stitch.
Now?
That, I swear to God, that's a thing. Stitch and Abyss does it, but with him, it's self-aware. He knows, like, it's fucking stupid. But it's like the people who are like, yeah, I got that Sigma grind set. I'm a Chad. Like, develop a personality that doesn't come with a curly-headed perm that makes you look like a llama. Like, fucking be a different person.
Llama face.
For fuck's sake.
Oh,
God. And this is coming from a kid who grew up emo with bangs in front of his face. Stop it. Get some help.
I love the accuracy of that so much. I love it.
Dude, I fucking hate that haircut. I hate that haircut with every fiber of my being. And you see, like, oh my God, Jason's so hot. It's just like the fucking... It literally looks like that skit from Jackass where everybody shaves their pubes and they glue it to the dude's face. That's what it looks like, only like the top of their head.
Yeah.
It's literally pubes. I know someone watching, they're like, fuck you, man, I look cool. And you probably do. You probably do. You don't have to look good for my sake. Do whatever the hell makes you happy. But, like, in this instance, with my opinion, you look fucking stupid. But I look fucking stupid. My haircuts in the past have not been great. So, I mean, do whatever the fuck you want at the end of the day. But I'm still gonna tell you, you look like a dip fuck. Maybe not to your face, because that's rude. But
things to say.
I'll just make a bit of it and make a fortune on the internet.
Honestly, though, big brain move.
Big brain. Fuck yeah, man.
Uh,
Oh, fucking. So, for those of you who have not seen Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, she has these ear clasps, or like these little cusps, that go over like the tops of her ears. And I bought those. It's like, I own these. They are, oh, I'm drawing. I own these. They are literally little metal, and I showed you the one. They're little metal kind of tubes with slits in them, or like openings on them, so they can just go right over the tops of your ears or wherever the fuck you put them. And I love them because it is the perfect amount of I play with my ears when I'm stressed. I stimulate my ears. So when I have that little clasp on there, it's just a perfect amount of pressure. It's god tier. And so, like, I'll wear them around some of, like, my family or friends, and they're like, when'd you get that piercing? I'm like, well, it's not a piercing, it's just, like, a little tube, and, like, it pops right off, and I'll pull it off, and I'll show them. And they'll be like, where do you get that piercing? I'm like, it's not a fucking piercing. It's, like, I just said that. It's just like the same thing as a necklace. You don't get your chest pierced to wear a necklace. And there comes a point when you've explained the same thing like so many fucking times that you can't help being an asshole about it. It's like you're like, oh, like by the third or fourth time I'm asked, like, is that a piercing? It's like, yeah, man, they cut off the top of your skin and they store it inside this little tube, and when you want to attach it, what you do is you put that back on your ear, and like the little microbes and shit, like it's you watch Big Hero 6, right, man? And then those connect and then you got your full ear again. It's fucking magical. Elon Musk came up with it. Like, at some point you gotta be a fucking dick, and my point is, I don't know what it was, but
I don't know what it was. I just was pissed off, and I just wanted to be a dick about it.
I wanted to get that out. I don't know why. Nobody offended me. I don't know, man. I can't watch a fucking Don't Toy With Me new season because it hasn't been confirmed yet. I'm still upset.
Still
waiting on a new
wasn't expecting
chapter of the
anything,
manga.
Still end up disappointed.
Yeah, expected nothing. Still disappointed.
Gosh. Ah, man. That's great. That's fantastic. I love that.
You mentioned. Oh God.
Oh no, you go ahead. So.
Oh, I was just gonna change the topic,
right.
but you're fine.
No, you go. You go change.
Okay.
Okay.
I was gonna say, can we talk about how fucking dumb the pro tags look in a new Pokemon game? Like, we talked about wanting to punt fictional characters. I have never wanted to crotch kick a male character more in my life than that fucking nerd. Like that is the epiphany. And I'm not trying to make fun of Spain or whatever the fuck country it's supposed to take part in, but like media, I'm blaming media because I'm innocent. Media has shown me that people who dress up like that are fucking narcs. And those are the people you beat the shit out of. And so when it's like, hey man, new Pokemon game, you're a fucking narc. I want to insert my foot into the urethra really badly, and it's
Oh god.
they're fully customizable. I get that. I get they're customizable, but like, why that though? Why is that the baseline? That you're like, hey man, This right here, banger. The only thing I can think of is they were trying to prevent Rule 34, and I respect it. To a degree.
Still trying to prevent, still got it.
Is there of those fuckers? Oh god, I hope not. It's kind of like a sailor suit. It's not. It's lame.
It's kind of like a sailor suit. Oh boy.
I don't fucking know, man. I'm fully customizable. So is my dick.
With the matching piercings and everything. Oh god.
God damn. Oh, speaking of my dick,
Oh god, here we go.
it's a joke. No. I was talking with Avery because you know how him and I were gonna do like matching cat dog tattoos. Like I was gonna get cat, he was gonna get dog, and we're gonna like zombify it, and how I thought it was gonna come out looking like a zombie wiener. I convinced him that we're no longer doing cat dog. We're doing spy versus spy. Like the old, like, the white spy and a black spy.
Oh, that's perfect. That is literally perfect.
We saw it on a truck, and I was like, I would rather do that than cat dog. He goes, let's fucking do that one then. He goes, that's awesome. Yes. Like, I can get a spy versus spy tattoo. Hell yeah, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure I gotta get the octopus one first that Roxy cashed in. Because technically, I listed it as my next tattoo, so that has got to be the next one that I get.
Yep.
Once I start getting some paychecks in and give myself more of a cushion, then I want to go get a tattoo. As a reward.
As a reward for good behavior.
Yeah, pretty much.
I still can't get over needles. Chat, for anyone that doesn't know, I'm a bitch when it comes to needles. I fucking hate them.
Now, I want to talk about that for a moment. I want to talk about that for a moment. This motherfucker right there talked to his girlfriend about getting matching tattoos. I have been trying for years to get this man to get a matching tattoo with me, and you won't do it. But apparently,
say anything else,
if I had tits, you'd say yes.
I mean, yeah. No, okay. Okay, so because it really doesn't fucking matter right now. Oh no, the idea is absolutely awful. That is like, to me, that's a death sentence to your relationship. I mean, obviously we're not together anymore, so you see what happened there. But who was it?
I don't fucking know. I hate them all the same.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was.
Big, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I was trying to fucking remember which one.
I can't remember half their names. I can barely remember this one's name, and I like this one. This one I like. Because she has the fucking balls to look at someone and say, hey, go fuck yourself. I like her. She'll keep you in line. I like that. She'll tell the waiter when they bring you the wrong food. I like her.
Oh god. I told her that and she about died. But then she was like, you know what? You're not wrong.
Yeah.
100% not wrong. See,
dude.
Kiba, my thing is, I think even being married, I personally don't agree with it, because it could be just because of like my life and like me being in a separate household kind of deal. I just always see it as just like, oh, it's gonna go to shit every time.
I don't like matching romantic relationship tattoos, but as far as like two friends getting one, like even if you have that falling out, they were still, to me, it was still like that was a large part of my life, was being friends with that person. Like, as painful as a breakup might be, or like the separation might be, I mean, if they slept with your mother, yeah, get it covered or something. But if I were to move to New Mexico and I never got to see you again, I would have that fucking tattoo. And this isn't like guilt tripping you into getting it. It's just an example. Like, I wouldn't regret that.
Absolutely.
But like, if I would have gotten a tattoo with like a girlfriend, that's the part where it's like, no, thank you.
Maybe not. No, absolutely.
Ride or die or get the fuck out.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, that's just how we've always been, though. It's like
I'm gonna disable the pen. There we go. There we go. Okay, it's disabled.
God. Because I was trying to sit there and, like, think if I would ever, like, go get a tattoo.
Yeah.
The other day, because of, like, two of the things that has happened with the one that I'm with now and the past one. You probably know what I'm talking about. Like a quote to remember those two by.
Right.
And it was I sat there, I'm like, I still don't think I can even get past the whole needles. I really don't think I could.
It honestly feels like a sunburn.
I can never get a sunburn. So like to me, I'm like, oh,
dude,
great,
I've been getting sun.
Territory.
Yeah, like it. At least for my finger, which, by the way, this day, what, 4 years ago? Yeah, 4 years ago. Is when I got my heartogram on my finger. Yeah, that was literally just like fucking felt like sunburn with them going on it. My knee, well, the placement on my leg is like a little bit above the knee for the bee's knee. But as the artist got closer to my actual like kneecap, like where the bone, that fucking hurt. I'll flat out say it. Like when it comes to like going on your bone, that hurts like a bitch. But the tops of your fingers, man, I didn't feel shit other than like a minor burn. Speaking of tats, I'm gonna get my second one finally. Fuck yeah, what are you getting? Yeah, you gotta get at least one so you can't get into heaven. I mean, that's the rule, though.
but
oh,
all
shit.
right, this is never mind. I'm not saying that. I think that's not as tasteful. It's funny to you and me, but I don't think it would be for everyone else.
Text me later.
Yeah, actually, I'll just send it to you right now.
Did you see Alex's tattoo on his forearm?
No, I didn't.
He got the
No, I did not.
From like Ocarina of Time, the three crystals are like the green, the blue, and red, or like the different goddesses. He has them going up his arm. It looks really fucking nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna
That's
make a joke, so I mean, neither one of us did. Maybe that was for the better.
I appreciate the fact that we had the same mindset.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, buddy.
Hands down. It's not that we don't trust you, Chad. It's just because one person sees the VOD, and I am not comfortable with putting shit out there that will potentially harm him.
Yeah, it's one of those, if you have to question it, you probably shouldn't fucking do it. And that was one of those, we're questioning it, so we're not gonna fucking do it. Yeah. Speaking with the whole tattoos thing, I was debating whether or not I was gonna get my septum pierced for the third time. But I can't reasonably think why I would, because every time I do, even though I wait months and months and months to pull the thing out, to clean and everything like that, it grows back like immediately. So it seals itself within seconds. That's one of those, like, yeah. because I've gotten it pierced twice. The first one, totally my fault. I only waited like a month before I took it out to clean it. So I was like, dude, this probably has like weird boogers on it, so I'm gonna like take it out and clean it. And stupid me, I left it in like a cup of cleaner overnight. And by the time I woke up, it was sealed shut. And I was like, okay, so that was fucking stupid. And so I got it pierced again. And I think I had it in for like 6 or 7 months. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do a night cleaning. So obviously it's been longer than a month. It shouldn't seal shut. It fucking sealed shut. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. That and the ball, because I always got the, just like the typical like bull ring that has like the ball on each end. To like, the screw post to put it in so it doesn't like, you know, slide out of your fucking nose. I lost those all the time. I would lose one probably every 3 days. Every fucking time. And of course they're tiny as shit. And you can't find them anywhere, they're just gone. It's like, you know what? I'm getting tired of paying money for this, for me to fucking lose it, so get out. Getting the king of red lions in water on my forearm. Nice. I do want to get pierced again. I'm probably going to be piercing my ears some more. But that's a little bit further down.
Okay.
I do want to get the industrial done.
Like
yeah, my industrial done. For those of you who don't know who an industrial is, it's like the top of your ear, like that rod that goes through it. From I don't know like the best way to describe that, but like yeah, it's like, towards the top of your ear, kind of like a bar going through, and I want to get that. I can't decide if I want to do it on both ears or just on one ear, and then leave the other ear go. But I don't know. That's if I even fucking do it. I might not.
And that's what it comes down to, you know, whether or not you're gonna do it or not. Kinda.
Then I thought about like getting my eyebrow pierced. I'm like, I'm gonna hit it with my fucking glasses, and I am going to scream in pain when that happens.
Oh,
Next time I'm in a VC with you, I'll tell you the full idea for my arm. Hell yeah, man. But yeah, there's a lot of shit that I want to get, but I don't necessarily know that I'll do it. And so, I don't know. I don't know yet. Maybe, I mean, like, knowing my luck, I'll probably get something pierced. I'll meet that special someone who's like, you know, I'm not saying you have to get rid of it, just say I'm not crazy about it. It's like, alright, it's gone. I live for your approval, because I'm not very good with this sort of thing. Oh, shit.
I know how that, I understand that fully.
What? Slight attention? I'm in love?
I have been deprived.
Speaking of that, prime fucking story. This just happened the other day.
Oh, I can't wait.
I went to the local store where my high school friend works, who is a female that I have the hots for. And I saw her there, and I told her about how I started my new job and everything. We're kind of catching up. And I was like, yeah, I started a job again. I'm getting back on my feet, whatever. And she goes, why don't you come work here? She goes, everybody that I like talking to left. She goes, you should get a job here. We can bullshit. And she meant that, like, we can talk, not, like, just fuck the job. She's a very hard worker. But, she goes, yeah, you should come work here. And I almost let this slip out. I did not say it, but I almost did. I almost said, no thank you. I don't like to work with people I want to fuck.
Damn.
It's not okay to
know,
say it. It was one of those, like, dark things that pop into your head that you're not proud of. And so I was like, I'm not gonna fucking tell her that. Like, I was just like, you know what? I could tell her, like, she's attractive, but I'm not gonna sit there like, boners. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And but
it's the whole, like, Looney Tunes thing of, like, your heart beating out your chest that you have.
Oh yeah, like the heart eyes coming out, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking, I was talking to Avery about that yesterday, about how I was kind of had, you know, a thing for this girl, and I'm like, it's not that, because she's engaged and she has been for like 7 years, and I'm like, it's not that I want her relationship to fail. It's that if it does.
If it does, I want a shot. That's what
if it does. Yeah, if it does, Daddy's showing up to the baseball game. That's how that's gonna work. And, and I'm not necessarily proud of that, but like, it was just, she was always the person when it came down to like going on adventures, and this isn't just one of those like, oh, Grimm wants to fuck her and leave. No. This was the girl who like I would go on constant adventures with, who I had like all this shit in common with, that like did everything with this girl.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, you got it. You know now. You know. See, now you're on my side. Now it's not weird. Now I'm not a pervert. You know who I'm talking about.
And I'm very much inclined
Girl's
to
fucking
agree
awesome.
with you.
Thank you.
Well, that
Thank
also,
you.
like, it's one of the, okay. Chat won't understand this because this has been years, but, and they don't, the fact that we know this person, know who she's engaged with, and on a personal note, and frankly, we don't like him, period.
The guy's a dick. And it's not because he's with her. It's not one of those, like, bullshit rivalry things. I just don't like the guy. He's a tool. And not a good tool, like tool shit. He's just a fucking tool. I don't like him.
No,
I can't wait to upload this to YouTube and having to crop out this entire section in case she sees it.
That's fine. That's fine.
And this is getting cut, because I don't want it to be like, why is my friend saying that he wants to fuck me? And that's not it. I want to date you and have hand-holdy sessions and cuddling, because I'm a basic white bitch. And
hey, no, can never diss cuddles. That shit is important. But no,
I want to lie around and watch anime together.
Dick. I personally think the dude's an asshole, and he was a senior, right? Like he was the same grade as you.
Yeah, he was
Or was he in mine?
my grade. No, he was in mine.
Yeah,
was he? I don't fucking know. I didn't like him.
Because when he came in,
He was one of those. He thought he was a badass because he flipped a desk in school. Like, one of those easy to flip desks. He, like, toppled it over. He goes, yeah, I'm so mad. It's like, dude.
It was.
You showed you're a
class.
bitch. Yeah, it's like, you showed you're a bitch. Nothing more. Like, control your fucking self.
I will, like, that happened during my history class that I had.
Yeah.
And I instantly was like, all right. And then when you told me who the person was dating, I was like, no way. I was so stunned.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god.
Exactly.
I was like, how? How do you manage to do that?
Yes! Like, this... I know I'm sounding like a simp, or I know I'm sounding creepy, but, like, this girl is fucking incredible. Like, I've thought that for years. Like, this isn't just, like, I'm lonely and I want somebody. No, this is, like, a legitimate, like, she's a badass. She works her ass off. She's a badass.
This entirely.
And to see her with that, it's like, even if she doesn't end up with me, don't be with that. Please. Like, please. I don't know. I guess we should change the subject. But, yeah, I don't know. And I'm mad at myself for falling for her again. Because it's like...
Oh, whatever. It was
going to could have picked anything. What's up?
Listen.
I just didn't hear what you said.
Enough. No, I was gonna say, it's like, I know you well enough. I knew it was gonna happen again. Because I know you.
Probably.
And also, you can't bullshit me. Well,
okay. That's one thing I'm normally open about. Is unlike you, who hid being in a relationship from me. Yeah, supposed to be his best friend. Didn't tell me when he got into a relationship. Like what? Twice? I think twice. Twice? Huh?
Hmm? Yeah, because I think it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, because that was when all that stuff happened, and then what was it? It was something else. Oh yeah, because that was during the time where I also was living with you too, and I didn't want to like bring someone to the house randomly. Be like, hey, this is my new here's my new boo kind of deal.
This is my flavor of the week. You were never like that. That's a joke. He was never like that.
Sorry, I'll take it a step further. It's like, it is a taste of vanilla with Copenhagen.
Oh God.
You'll know you know who I'm talking about. But,
yeah.
No.
Why does your dick not have a curve?
It doesn't have a sweater.
It doesn't have a sweater. Sweaters are better for anal. I don't know why you don't have one. Anyway.
Chat, we're not sorry. You chose this.
No.
You chose
Nope.
this.
What the fuck? Hey, ladies, if you don't want it repeated, don't say it in the first place.
It gets to a point to where, at least for me and Dan, we get told things so much to where we can't help but say it back.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, you said I can't hide things from you about, like, who I like, whatever, which is 100% true. I will have you know, sir, I will have you know that she texted me as we're talking, and I didn't even look at my phone. Didn't even look at it.
Really?
Yeah. I have a message right on my phone. I haven't responded to it because I knew that you were important to me, and I didn't want to be offensive to you. But you, sir, hid the fact.
Your Honor,
Twice.
I would like to take a stand to this. Your Honor, I would like to take a stand to the jury and just say, fuck him.
You would if I had tits.
I mean, my mom would.
I thought you said I was one of the boys.
Abort.
Roxy, I got a seat for you right here. Spot for you. For the boys! Alright. Saved it. I didn't save it.
For you, home slice.
I can't wait for this clip to go out of context. Anyway,
Oh, absolutely.
gonna be the next Jay Schlatt.
Fuck.
Roxy, you're the middle ground. Roxy, you were the chosen one! You were supposed to bring balance to the Force. Technically, Anakin did.
In the end, yes, he did bring balance.
He totally did, because there's like, what, 2 Jedi left and 2 Sith? I would say that's pretty fucking balanced.
Which, fucking, speaking of Star Wars, so this is what I was going to try to talk to you about earlier. Guess what I found out? Okay, so one of my favorite games to play right now is a tabletop game called Star Wars Legion. It's a miniature style game with basically in the Star Wars universe. I can, with the faction that I play, I can have an entire Wookiee warrior army with Chewie leading the Force. Yeah. And so going to do that.
The worst Chewbacca noise you've ever heard.
I mean, Chewie, all that noise was just the creator's dog.
That's fun.
That literally was it. So a Malamute.
A couple
dog,
video games did that.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can see me spinning in my office chair. Oh, this is dumb. I don't know, man. My stupidity had to have an outlet there. Apparently, that's what we went with.
That's what we chose.
But yeah, with your like figurines, figurines, is that what they're called? Miniatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been doing that for a little over a year now, right? Almost 2?
Yeah.
I forget when you started.
Because it was after I lost the thing, and I needed a different outlet, and
yeah,
I came across miniature war gaming as a whole, to where I could create my own stories, my own worlds, my own factions almost, and give everyone a name and why they have it, things like that. It's one of my favorite things.
Cool. Very cool. I do have a very important question for you.
Okay.
Have you beat a Persona game yet?
You know what? I actually was looking, so I finally, because I've been playing Destiny 2 a lot more, I re-download Persona 5, and that's what it's been doing, because I wanted to sit down and play it.
Are you playing Golden or the original?
Golden.
Nice. Well, not Golden.
I'm playing Golden.
Royal. It's Royal is Persona 5. Golden is Persona 4. I forgot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think that. Here's the thing. I think the game is amazing. The fact that I haven't beat it makes me sad at this point.
Oh, it makes me sad too, man. I mean, I like to talk about things Persona, and then you just don't fucking play it. So I'm like, hey, who's your favorite Persona character? I didn't beat it. I don't know what happens. Then you pick Morgana, and I hate you.
Oh, fuck Morgana. I hate that character.
All my homies hate Morgana.
Oh, God. I don't think there's any redeeming quality for me from Morgana.
There's not. Morgana sucks, dude. I hate Morgana. I fucking hate that stupid cat. Like, I love the meme because it captures perfectly. It's just a photo of Morgana that says, Ryuji missed again, can't wait to tell him what a worthless piece of shit he is. That's the whole game for Morgana, until you finally get Futaba. to take over for navigating, and you don't have to hear the shit anymore. But
yeah, no, that's true.
Futaba was my favorite character in Persona 5 because she got rid of Morgana. 100%. Fucking hate that stupid cat.
That's fair. That's fair.
By the way, Makoto's dog shit. Alright, now we just wait for that, that explosion. Anyway, so, yeah, about...
Wait. Hold on.
What's up? What's up?
What?
I'm just starting a waifu war right now, so it's fine. Don't pay attention to it.
I can't wait. But
probably nothing's gonna come out of it other than like a one fuck you, if anything. But
I mean, but that's still a win.
yeah, but yeah, you have to. You don't have to. Because I didn't play through. I mean, you bought me The Witcher 3. And I felt horrible, because you bought me that game. And I spent, I think, 45 minutes on it, and I'm like, I'm bored shitless. And I never picked it up again. Oh, I hated it.
Though, that I thought it was boring too. Because you and me were talking about how, like, the universe was cool, but then we sat down and played it, and not the best.
Yeah, because everybody's like, you gotta play The Witcher, you gotta play it. And I sat down and played it, and I'm like, this is not fun for me. Hot take, I know. But, like, it just, I didn't enjoy it at all. It had no redeeming qualities to keep me coming back.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong
Unlike
with that.
the hit game, Final Fantasy XIV. Which has a trial period. I can't do the meme. I can't fucking remember it.
Appreciate the effort, though.
Yeah, if Pelosa was here, he just... I put that pressure on him with no knowledge and no responsibility whatsoever. Oh, shit. Come on, work. Does it work? Come on. Huh? It does work. It totally works. So, we added a vending machine to the office, and it totally fucking works. Here you go. Oh yeah, you don't have hands. Never mind. That was unintentionally, like, the rudest thing I've ever done in this game. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck you. Oh shit, I'm having fun. Witcher was okay for me. I respect that opinion. It's a wrong one, but I'm kidding. I liked Battleborn, so that's about as bad as it can get. So what are you clicking over there? What are you searching? Just playing some games? What am I starting on? Oh. If you're playing Hearthstone, I swear to God, I'm gonna punch you.
No, actually. That's what I was doing before I call with you.
Are we good? Are we good? Oh yeah, we're good. We're good. Ooh. Oh. Oh shit, that was almost bad. I moved my foot and kicked one of the cords going into my computer. I heard a fucking check everything.
Oh.
The best one is Elden Ring. I don't agree with that. Elden Ring's good, but it's not the best.
I still have yet to play it, so I do not have a...
You should. What the fuck is my tail is my dick now? I'm just gonna. Anyway, I think everybody should at least try it if you're into games like that. But I don't agree with the whole like a huge movement like this game's the best game to ever exist. No, it's good. It deserves. Yeah, it deserves to be talked about. It's a great game, but yeah, I'm not gonna be like, hey man,
it's fan.
Play this before Persona 5 Golden because you need to fucking get Persona 5 Royal. No, you have me saying the wrong thing. You gotta play Persona 5 Royal to completion, which is only like over 100 hours, so you should be able to do it in like a day. But
you know, I kind of feel attacked just because you know my history on like no lifing games.
No, get out, no.
Chat, to let you know, when Monster Hunter Rise came out, I did almost, this is how much I played straight, I had almost 200 hours. When the addiction is there, it's bad.
I can't wait for someone
really
in chat
bad.
to be like, 200 hours, that's rookie numbers. You know it's coming. You know it's coming. Addiction's a competition, and I have to win. Oh, shit.
If I expect anyone to take the piss on me on that, it would be Pelosa. 100%.
Yeah, my hours in Final Fantasy 14 are pretty fucking bad. They're, if I could see how many hours I pumped into Oblivion, that'd be a rough pill to swallow. That would be a rough one for Daddy.
That would be the one.
I have 10,000 hours in Skyrim. I can't say much. It's probably what I have like in Oblivion. I liked Skyrim, but it was not Oblivion. It had a lot of shortcomings that I didn't like, which it's fine. It just I preferred Oblivion. Maybe nostalgia got the better of me, but definitely preferred Oblivion.
That's definitely possible.
The Shivering Isles. Aww. Yeah.
Speaking of Elder Scrolls,
Oblivion felt bigger. Yeah.
The new expansion, I think the new expansion for Elder Scrolls Online is either coming out soon or came out.
Elder Scrolls Online. I got an email from them the other day that said, "Hey, your yearly membership is ending. Like there's no money in your account to cover it." I'm like, "Oh no." I would have been pissed had that money. Like I haven't played this game in like 8 months. Like if that money came out, like next month. Okay.
How fucking pissed you'd be.
Yeah, like I barely having money for my bills at the moment. It's like, hey man, don't worry, got that Elder Scrolls time, or yeah, the Elder Scrolls Plus, because you don't have to pay for time to play. And it was just one of those, like, fuck! Oh, shit.
Yeah, that would have been so That'd be so fucked.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I did want to check my chair here. Ah, the stools didn't save, that's fine. Wait, did I go through the floor? You know what? I'm not gonna think about that right now. I'm just gonna. Shh, it's fine.
We're gonna pretend it doesn't exist. It does not exist.
Yeah, I put stools over by the pool table because I'm not tall enough to see over the pool table. I was like, oh, well, I'll just add like little stools that you can pick up for the shorter avatars, and they're just not over there. So it's
They're just not there. They just don't exist.
Yeah, they either went through the floor and they just are falling forever, or I accidentally deleted them. But anyway, that's a whole bouquet of oopsie daisies right there, for being honest.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's why this world's in a work in progress.
No, absolutely.
Okay. I have to ask, live in front of everybody. I probably asked you this question before, but we gotta ask it live. If you had to pick one animal, and it is not allowed to be a human, if you had to pick one animal to fist fight, what animal do you pick, and why?
A fist fight?
Yes, but like if you pick a rhino, obviously it's going to use its weight and its horn to gouge you. So they have everything they are born with, and you have everything you are born with. So no weapons. If it helps, I asked the girl today that same question, and she picked a possum. Because she goes, I know it'll play dead, and I know it's not dead. Were her exact words. And I'm like, well, alright, we're going to No Mercy route, I guess.
I like that.
But yes, I am curious what your response would be. And then I will tell you mine after.
Now, does that mean, like, is it just like in a fist fight in like a white room almost kind of deal?
If you're asking if you can pick a fish on dry land, I'll accept it. Even terrain. Like... So even terrain.
Oh, okay.
So like if you pick a monkey, there's not going to be trees everywhere that can...
The reason why I was asking that, because if I could use terrain to my advantage in a point like that, I would just choose a red panda and randomly throw a rock in front of them to stun them, and then get the better end of the deal.
Wow, going with a cute animal. Ah, shit. Alright, chat. So we have a murderer. Just kidding. I straight up picked a giraffe.
Over the damn memes.
I straight up picked a giraffe. I want to punch a giraffe. I want to uppercut a giraffe. Am I going to be able to make it happen? Probably not. But
that was an interesting one. Uppercutting a giraffe.
If I beat the giraffe into submission, and it accepts me as the alpha male, could I then use the giraffe for giraffe jousting?
Giraffe jousting. Oh,
giraffe jousting.
We're going that route.
Yes. I don't have to win. I just need giraffe jousting.
I just need giraffe jousting. Huh.
Keepa says yes. Okay. Chat, you can play along as well. Put your answers in the chat or in the comments down below. If we're on YouTube.
I don't. Now, does that...
I should say you don't have to win. So if you pick like a gorilla, because you're like, dude, I want to go down a hero. Sure. I don't care. If you're like, Harambe number 2, I don't fucking know. It's your choice.
Go for a hyena, so that way my death is humorous.
Boo! Just kidding.
Boo.
Did you know
Boo,
lions are
sir.
pussies?
Yes.
Like, apparently that's a thing. Like, lions are just legitimate pussies.
Mm-hmm. No.
That was the thing I learned. What? Okay. Why did learning about lions being pussies hurt me more than learning about that dolphins fuck people? Like, I was more offended by the lion because it was lying to me than I was about the dolphins that use dead fish to masturbate. I don't know, man. Can I pick a sloth? I mean, if you want to pick a sloth, go ahead. Are you going with the cool ones that have the poison patches on their elbows, or are you just going like they try to grab a branch, but instead it's their arm and they fall to their death? What if it's what if it's slacking? There's no fucking way you're gonna win.
God, fuck. It's gonna use skill swap and you're gonna be stunned for like half. God. Still one of those bullshit things.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to fucking think here. Oh, this is way off topic, but I felt like I would share it. Look, I win my IQ matches at speed. That's fair. My family kind of ate without me today because my brother and his girlfriend did the cooking, and I didn't fucking know that there was food, so I didn't go down in time to eat. But they had like the food in like Tupperware containers, and it was still kind of warm. So it's like, you know what? It was about like 6:45, so a few minutes before we went live. I'm like, I need to eat something, or otherwise I'm not gonna be doing well. I'm not gonna be able to do this. So I went down. They had like mac and cheese in this Tupperware bowl. I was like, fuck it. Here's larger ones. Like, I'll just get out a smaller bowl, put some in there, nuke the fucking thing, and I'll come up and eat real quick before we go live. And I took like 3 bites, and I was literally like, you know what? I think I'm done. And I was mad too, because I was like, what do you mean you're done? Like, it was like 2 to 3 bites. Like, yeah, I've had enough. I'm done. Like, it wasn't even bad macaroni. It was just like, I'm full. Like, how are you full, though? It's like, I started talking to myself like I'm a child, because I was like, oh, I'm sure you're going to have enough room for ice cream later. Like, doing that whole bit. It's just, I don't know, man. I can't. I guess I can only do so many things as an adult before stupidity fucking takes over.
I need an adult. You are an adult. I need a better adult.
I need a more adult. I don't fucking know. So, I saw this quote. It was from Albert Einstein. And it said, a life serving others is a life worth living, or something related to that. And I saw this at that car show. Like, people were selling like merchandise and shit. And they had like a poster or something, or whatever the fuck it was, that said that quote on it. And a little bit audibly, a little bit too loud, I had mentioned, I'm like, you know, that's kind of ironic from someone who was on the Manhattan Project. And
wow.
And it didn't go over well, shockingly. So
Damn. That was not on my bingo sheet, sir. Of random shit.
I mean, come on. Are we gonna give
bingo sheet?
Are we gonna give that guy credit for living for others? Fuck no. Like, nah, man, don't give it to the monks who live in solitude serving the community. No, give it to the guy who fucking helped invent nuclear warfare. Like, it's...
Jesus. Holy shit. And on that note...
Yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. Going on about 10:30, huh? Yeah, about 10:40. Yeah, I think that's a good place to call it.
Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah.
Almost made it through the whole thing without sounding offensive.
Man, I wish I would have made the joke I was going to earlier. Then shit. Fuck.
Kids, Albert Einstein's a dick. Oh my.
Oh, that was. Oh, that's beautiful. You know, I'm gonna say that at work tomorrow. I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna randomly bring it up somehow.
I gotta see if I can. I hope he was wrongfully credited. I really hope. I hope it was just one of those like bullshit internet quotes that he somehow gets credit for, and someone slapped it on merchandise. But like, if he truly said it, that's hilarious.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know why. Oh, fuck. But that aside, I appreciate you being the first person on the Grimm and Barrett podcast. It's a round of applause for you.
Grin and Barrett the entire time. Had a.
Ah, you got the joke. All right.
So tight to make sure to make through it. It's funnier because you ain't explaining.
Yeah. We were gonna do Grimm's in Barrett, but I was like, Grimm in Barrett.
Grim Barrett's so much better. I agree on that one.
Yeah. But yeah, like we said, we were kind of talking about this off screen a little bit. Maybe future podcasts I might have like a gameplay first and then go into the chat. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like having a long podcast at the same time. But I don't necessarily know if I'm going to upload a 3.5 video podcast on the YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Then again, we talked about...
We
talked about things I'm going to cut out anyway, so who knows. I'll be the next Joe Rogan, only maybe less hated by everybody, even though he didn't say anything wrong. Anyway. Shit. God damn it. Have you ever dropped acid?
Dropped acid?
Yeah, we just dropped acid.
That's the part that you want to end on? Dropping acid?
Yeah. Yes, I want you to look at... Hold on, let me get the camera. There's actually more to this than meets the eye. We're here about your drug addiction. Sir. Get my finger out of the way. Okay.
If we're going to talk about any addiction I have, we're going to talk about my addiction to big booty bitches.
Alright. I think that's a good place to stop. I don't know about everybody else, but that's going on to TikTok. Alright. Thank you, chat, for being here.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Alright. This was the highest viewed stream I've had in ever. So yeah, let's end it there. before you ruin it. So.
Chat, don't let him take me away.
Goodbye.
He's gonna lock me in the room
Goodbye.
again. Bye.
Yeah, fuck me.